Am I the only one not doing it? Okay, fine.
Somehow that's right.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Y'all are
Just do
nerds.
Well, it's true. We all are nerds.
All right, guys, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Horror Hangout live stream. Very excited about this edition today. Been wanting to do this for a long time. It's been up in my head there. We are talking about the Universal Classic Monsters versus Hammer Horror. And this will be a battle to the death. There will be a winner, yes. Because Christian is keeping score on each round we do.
There will be a winner.
Yes.
There will be blood.
There will be blood.
What if I
Severed
mess up
body
this?
parts, not with blood. Lots of stuff. Mostly a lot of titties. At least on the hammer side of things.
At least on the
No.
hammer side.
Oh, wait,
no.
Marty,
Not
no.
so much on the
Yeah.
universe.
You're gonna kill Sean's channel, Jen.
A new record. A new record.
I'm
So-
the reason why guests say no.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we've got a very esteemed panel today. We got our special guest this evening, Anthropomantic Fiend.
Yay.
Very happy to be here.
And of course, the horror miser, Monty G.
Boo.
And as always, Jen and Christian from Jen's
Boo.
Reviews from the
Boo.
All right, let's get right to it, shall we? The huge matchup here.
Of course, he's got all the movies.
Dracula
But of course.
versus Dracula,
Dracula.
from 1931, starring Bela
Damn it.
Lugosi. All right, guys, what's the better film? What's the better film?
Who wants to start?
I'm not, because I'll be a cliche bitch. I'm not going in this
let,
first.
let the guest start first.
Yeah, what do you got,
Yeah.
Fiend?
Okay, so I like both of these movies a lot. I think like Lugosi and Christopher Lee, and like not to mention like Peter Cushing, Dwight Fry, Edward Ransom, like a bunch of my favorite actors in both of these movies. And they're like such different takes on the character too, because you've got like this really eerie, creaky, like black and white version, and then just like the most vibrant, like Christopher Lee runs down those steps, and he talks really fast too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that movie just like doesn't stop moving at any point. It's like, okay, we got to do this as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it for that reason. I will also say there are a lot of minor problems with the original 1931 Dracula. Like, Lucy's just kind of still out there. They never really address what happens with her. Her plot kind of falls out the
Don't
window.
worry about it.
Yeah,
She's fine.
She went for some cigarettes.
Yeah, she went off for some cigarettes.
Ellie
Just
does
like
that.
Dad.
She's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
I'm sure she's fine. I'm just not sure about like, the children in England right
They're
now.
fine. What's a couple babies being eaten every
Yeah,
now and then? It's
yeah.
fine. No biggie.
You're right. But like there's something about the atmosphere of the original Dracula and the way Lugosi talks, and like there's a distinct lack of Renfield in the Hammer version too.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I like Renfield is one of my
That's
favorite
true.
parts of that story. Also, the Hammer version, like what's really deciding this for me is the fact that the Hammer version just commits the cardinal sin of the Mina Lucy name swap for no goddamn reason.
I
Oh,
figured
God.
you were going to mention that.
So, like, and I've got like 2 posters of Bela Lugosi on my wall. Universal was going to win for me this time.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Points Universal.
One for Universal.
Woohoo!
The horror miser, Monty G. What's your
Yes,
thought?
yes. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody knows how much I love the late great Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. Mostly all of the Hammer horror pictures I've come to love mainly because of his portrayal of the great Count Dracula. But unfortunately, it's because of Bela Lugosi's very creepy and very I guess you'd say I can't get the word I'm trying to get. A mesmerizing performance about how he
Mm.
talks.
Mhm.
I never drink wine.
Why?
This oozes machismo. I think that's one of the reasons why that film works so well. And as much as I love the horror Dracula, I still got to go with Universal. Got to go
Ooh.
Universal.
That's 2 Dracula.
And can I bring up a little fun fact about that? Because, like, you probably know, Lugosi didn't know that much English.
I'm glad
I
you
was-
said
I
that.
was about
he
to
didn't.
bring
No, he
that
didn't.
up.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true,
so
yeah.
the reason he's got that strange speech pattern is because he memorized all of his lines phonetically, which I
Mhm.
love.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
works so well.
Mhm.
I remember reading that fact that his English was very he didn't know English that well, so he had to write his lines so he could memorize
Yep.
them.
And because of that like I never drink wine line got written back into the stage play that it wasn't in to begin with. It's in Dracula's Daughter. There's like a great compilation on YouTube of just all the I never drink wine moments. It's delightful.
All right, Jen and Christian.
You go.
Okay, well,
Why are you picking Dracula a 3rd time?
fuck you. You don't know. You don't know me. You don't know my story. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so much like what we just talked about, that is one of okay. I love Christopher Lee as
Of
much
course,
as
I think we
everybody.
all can say we adore Christopher Lee.
And there is a certain energy
Obviously.
with that particular portrayal of Dracula, but it just doesn't like. I know this is a horrible thing to say, but he just doesn't hold a candle to my Bella. Maybe because I saw it first, maybe the Bela Lugosi version first, but I don't know. There's just he is Dracula in my mind. Bella is Dracula, and like phonetically not knowing the language at all, just like literally, and that adds something.
It
That
does.
is, and imagine not really even knowing what the hell you're saying, and yet it is such an impact on every. I mean, it's for all those times.
It's a movie that impacted literally every single version of Dracula or any other vampire film afterwards.
Yes, and that sexy dark vibe. I mean, he just has that sexy dark vibe
He
where
does.
all the women just, hi.
He does have a lot more of the charisma as opposed to like the more monstrous elements that Lee had. Lee had charismatic and alluring moments too, but definitely Lugosi was way more fit for that.
Not as much as, I'm going to say it, not as much as Bella. Like, Bella's the guy that's going to make me drop my panties.
I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
TMI.
Like, just to add to this a little bit, I feel like, not that I know much about like sexual attraction, to be honest, but I feel like Lugosi's the one who's like drawing you in. Lee forces himself on you.
Yeah. There's a very seductive quality.
Lee's a bit more animalistic in his
Yeah.
approach.
rapey. Let's just say
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But like literally, Scars of Dracula, he slips something in someone's drink. They're not
That's
subtle.
true. He does roofie people. I forgot he does roofie people.
That's okay though.
So, point
Have
3,
some luck.
Universal Dracula.
Yeah, also, Bram Stoker was Irish, and as you people all know, I have a big fondness for Irish.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, we know.
Fair enough, I suppose.
What about you?
Okay, so I don't know about Sean, but I guess I will be the one dissenter for this round.
Seriously?
Not to say that Bela Lugosi is not like one of the greatest performances.
That's kind of what it sounds like
He
you're
is the
saying.
iconic Dracula. He is Dracula. There's a reason why he was buried in the cape. He is Dracula. But Hammer was a big horror awakening for me. Like, I actually saw the Hammer Dracula films before I saw the Universal ones. My first Universal films were the Frankenstein movies, but the first vampire movies I saw were the Hammer films. So I kind of always go back to that Christopher Lee performance in that first movie and just how imposing is. Also, I like how minimalistic he is with a lot of his dialogue, not just in this film but throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more physical of a performance as opposed to Lugosi, who's much more dialogue based.
Kind of like, it's funny that you say that, because how Bela Lugosi had such a problem with Karloff with its own makeup and grunting.
He didn't have the passion of acting.
Exactly. And that's interesting you bring that up.
No, but I love both to death. I think both are about equal. But if I have to give it to one, I'm gonna give it to Hammer Dracula.
You just want to be a little dissenter.
Also I like sowing seeds.
You just
of
gotta
chaos.
be cool, Mr.
I gotta be a contrarian.
Yes.
Well, you're not alone.
Ooh.
Dracula for me.
I'm shocked.
Why does this not surprise me?
That doesn't surprise me neither.
Not.
I mean, put it this way: I think out of all the people who I know loves Hammer, I think Sean loves Hammer just as much as I love Hammer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we were judging by the performance of Dracula, I am with you guys. I completely agree. There's nothing like Bela Lugosi. He set the standard, and for all Draculas to follow, you know. It's absolutely iconic and unforgettable. You know, his mannerisms, the deep voice and the accent, everything about him is legendary. But outside of that, I feel like it's a much slower pace. That's what I love about Horror of Dracula. Very entertaining, faster paced. And I love the whole cast. Whereas the original Dracula, I could do without some of them.
David Manners,
And,
kind of boring.
But
Ooh.
not only do you have a great performance of Crystal Lee, but Peter Cushing is absolutely phenomenal as Van Helsing.
You
He's
like
my
Van
Van
Helsing in Dracula?
How do you feel about Edward Van Sloan as Van Helsing?
I like him, but there's no
good.
big confrontations between them really, outside of like one scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with Van Helsing and Christopher Lee is much more of a dynamic there, in my opinion.
Dynamic, yeah. I will admit that, but I think that's because the people. Universal was trying to stick more closer to the source material. That's the reason why you don't get that same confrontation as opposed to when Hammer wanted to do the action part.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another reason I like it too, because I like it as close to the book as possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're going for a more closer book adaptation, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those assholes.
Which, granted, it's questionable adaptation even there, but
But it's closer between the two of them.
Out of the two, yeah. But no, definitely, I would say I'm kind of with you, Sean. The thing that edges the movie for me is definitely Peter Cushing's Van Helsing that really sets the movie up. That Van Sloan's great. He's really good in the role too. But I love the dynamic that Cushing and Lee had with their Van Helsing and Dracula. They almost are kind of it's like they have this weird history between the two of them that's never explained. I always joke they're like ex-boyfriends or something. Like they have this tumultuous they had this fiery breakup, and he went to become a vampire, and he's like, I must kill you for the evil you have become. Also, you broke my heart, you bastard.
Van Helsing's just jealous of Jonathan Harker or
Who's this little asshole here? You find a younger man? Am I not good enough for you, asshole?
Yeah, and I will say to Mr. Dan in Horror in the chat saying Sloan was a little wooden. He's like an old academic man. He's not the young guy that Peter Cushing is.
Need I remind you of the candlestick scene? How spirited was that when he jumps on the table, jumps on, grabs, pulls down the curtain?
I know, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Admittedly, there is one thing I will give Dracula 1931 over Horror of Dracula. Horror of Dracula doesn't have that random cardboard that keeps me awake at night, considering why the hell it's there.
Yep. Also, the glowing eyes that don't quite line up.
Oh yeah, that too. There's definitely more stuff I find fascinating to research about the original Dracula as opposed to Horror.
Yeah, like Horror, I think it's the tighter movie, it knows exactly what it's doing, but the little imperfections in the 1931 movie are part of why I love it.
Yeah, I get you on that.
Well,
Plus,
with that,
horror. I like
Universal
the
takes
fact
the
that
lead.
horror of Dracula is like the bright, vibrant colors, and
Yeah.
you got
Mhm.
blood in there. You know, you got
It is a pretty
that
thing to
great
look
scene
at.
with Lucy
Mhm.
when Peter Cushing, puts the cross right on her head. It's,
They're
Yeah.
both gorgeous.
But
In
then
my
the
opinion.
black and white.
Oh yeah, they both have a
They
great
do
thing,
have
but I
aesthetic.
will say, like, and maybe this is just because I'm that asshole who has to bring this up. While I do love the original English Dracula, I do still think I'm one of those assholes that says the Spanish version's superior because I like the atmosphere it builds since it was filmed at night.
Yeah.
Okay, like the cinematography in the Spanish version
Yeah.
overall is better.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
And it actually finishes off the Lucy plot thread by like very
It does.
like
It does.
That's why you like it.
Yeah,
it
does.
puts like the smallest button on it by having them walk out of the cemetery like holding a stake, and it's like, oh, I guess they got Lucy.
Yeah, no,
But like Carlos Villarreal or whatever his name is as Dracula, he's not Lugosi, and the
No.
dude who plays
But who is?
Reynolds
I
is
always
not.
wished you could do like a supercut of the two of them and like transplant Lugosi Dracula into the Spanish version because that would be the ultimate Dracula movie in my
Just
opinion. if you
transplant
could.
Yeah, you're
Lugosi
probably
and Dwight
right.
Fry into that movie.
Yeah, then you got a perfect Dracula movie.
Sort of like what Ed Wood did with the dentist.
just give Ed Wood the prince of both movies and let him cut it.
I would
together,
love
see what
that.
happens.
Ed Wood's Dracula. That would
Oh,
be
Can you
boy.
amazing.
imagine?
But like with
Oh.
his love of Lugosi, I think like maybe it wouldn't line up perfectly, but it'd be a labor of love for sure.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely would be.
Yeah, that's true. What's up,
That's
popping the popcorn?
Yeah, Katie's in the chat. Jennifer
Hey,
Tochi's in
Hello,
the chat.
everyone in the chat.
Hey,
Jennifer Tochi,
Jennifer
Hobbs,
Sean, Dan.
Sean Blue. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am gonna point out two knocks I have against the Universal's Dracula. The fact that the ending is extremely lackluster to me.
Yeah.
There's
Solid.
no like confrontation. There's no like final battle or nothing. He just goes in, puts the stake through his heart.
Stake through his
that's
heart,
it.
and that was it.
You
That
don't
was
even
easy.
see it. You don't see anything. And the fact that it didn't have any score in the original Dracula, and the Hammer score is like bombastic, loud, and like in your face. I love it.
Yeah, the score is good.
Yep. I will add to that, if you want to see Universal's Dracula with the score, Philip Glass went back and did a great one for it.
I have seen
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
It's great. Well, with that, Dracula Universal takes the lead
Yay!
in the first inning.
Not that I'm having a favorite.
No, you don't have any bias whatsoever here. But it's still early. Hammer could definitely pull ahead.
Oh yeah.
I'm here.
What's
On
the next
to the
round?
next
Sean?
round, we had Universal's Frankenstein
Ooh.
from 1931 versus The Curse of Frankenstein
Oh.
from 1957.
Oh, this one's a little harder. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not.
You're killing me, Sean. You're killing me, Sean.
I'm already just gonna say, I think what just happened on Jen and Christian's end says everything.
Yeah.
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 Is this gonna be like a Sophie's choice for you?
Kind of. I love both passionately. The Frankenstein series is my favorite out of Hammer and Universal. I think both of them are their finest hours. But if we're going with OG Frankenstein versus OG Curse, I gotta give it to the original Frankenstein. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like it's not even my favorite of the Frankenstein series, but it's still just up there as one of my all-time favorites. It's I think it's absolutely gorgeous looking film. I love the story. I love the changes it does to the book. I think it enhances on the story. Karloff as
Yeah.
as the monster is just stellar.
Mhm.
Everyone is stellar in the movie, honestly. Like, there's not a single weak performance in there. There's a lot of really great atmosphere and genuine horror in it, especially for the time. You can see, like, I love, like, it might be kind of cheesy to some, but I love the fact that really most copies now still have that introduction of, like, what you're about to see may horrify and shock and terrify you. You may not be prepared for what you're about to see. Yeah, I love that we kept that, because that just adds into the movie so much more. I love it. I love Cushing's Frankenstein as well, but I gotta give it to Universal personally.
Yeah.
Point to Universal.
Yeah. And going back to Dracula really quick, there was originally supposed to be like an outro with Edward Van Sloan on that one. Like,
Oh yeah.
That'd be
he
cool.
does basically the
Very
same
cool.
thing, but like he very famously at the end is just like, but if you're scared and just go home and turn off the light knowing that there are such things.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah,
That is
no, Mr. Dan, you
wonderful.
didn't miss the mummy yet.
Yeah.
No, we got
Yeah.
Mummy later on.
We only
That's
just
coming.
finished Dracula and are moving on to Frankenstein.
Time
We
will
got
come.
stuff.
Yes. All right, Jen.
All right. Well, no surprise here. Like, okay, this is maybe I wonder because again, I guess which one I saw first.
Oh yeah, this is one of the earliest films I ever saw. This is one of my first movie memories.
Yeah, and the scene that gets me like that, you can't touch the scene is with the little girl.
Yeah.
You know, you just couldn't do it. I mean, it's just in Karloff. Karloff is. It's just like Bela Lugosi. Karloff is Frankenstein. Who doesn't, when you say Frankenstein, who doesn't immediately think of Lon Chaney Jr.? But I mean,
He did play
you know,
him.
like you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did play him.
Come on, Glenn
He
Strange.
did, but
Glenn
even
Strange.
I like to think of myself as a fairly well knowledgeable horror fan. Like I
Your
have to
mind
go.
goes to the Karloff.
I
at
always
least the
forg-
design of the creature.
Yeah, I do, and I'm like, oh yeah, Cushion did it too, right? That's
Mhm.
really good.
And you have Christopher Lee in the first movie.
Yes,
you
you
know.
do,
Mhm.
and but again, I'm gonna have to give it to the OG man,
Yeah.
the OG. The universe, and I'm not doing. And I was joking. I'm not picking.
Eventually,
Universal.
you'll pick Hammer once.
Yeah, once of these I'll pick Hammer, but it might just be. I wonder if it's nostalgic because again, I saw this, but I think everybody goes to this movie.
It-
Like
it's-
you cannot kind of understand Dracula, but I don't know anybody. I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
We will find out.
Yeah. No. The only addition I would say, it would be slightly harder for me if we had gone with Revenge of Frankenstein instead of Curse. That's the only way where this would have maybe gone to Hammer for me. But I
Really?
just love the hell out of the Universal film too much.
So give another point to Universal.
2 points, Universal.
I swear I'm not a ringer.
Monty G.
Let's see. It's kind of difficult. Well, not too difficult because I saw the Frankenstein's first before I actually saw Curse of Frankenstein, and again, I like what Hammer tried to do. As far as coming up with their own version of Curse of Frankenstein, and I have no problem with Peter Cushing, but it's just you just can't top those performances between the guy that played Dr. Frankenstein and Bela Lugosi. I mean, it's just their presence on the screen really makes that movie. And again, that scene with the little girl,
Mhm.
that's really very touching and frightening at the same time because he doesn't understand what he's doing. Because he thinks he's playing with the girl. He's not. Doesn't know what he did.
Another pretty flower will also.
Okay,
Wow.
we'll also throw it. Yeah, and it's just those two performances between the actor that played Dr. Frankenstein and Bela Lugosi. You just can't top that. So Universal goes for me. Frankenstein.
Point,
And of
Universal.
course, that famous line: "It's alive, it's alive,
Live.
it's alive, it's alive, it's alive."
and to add to that,
past God.
exactly, like the part that I think is the best part is the one that like they had to cut for blasphemy in the original version.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They did.
Right, because he's like, oh, in the name of God, now I know what it feels like to be God.
God.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a good
Absolutely
scene.
classic. Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it was probably the first of many in horror where it's heartbreakingly beautiful.
Mhm, It's
Young
a really
Frankenstein,
great
get
film.
out of here.
Told you talk about Young Frankenstein. It's
I mean, Young Frankenstein's
Frankenstein.
great too. You're not wrong, Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great,
no.
but I
It's
want-
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Exactly. It's young Frankenstein.
It's Frankenstein.
It's pronounced
Anthropomantic
Igor.
Fiend. Do I even need to ask?
All right. So when I was at Monster Bash, there was this guy there that described himself as a universalist. I swear I'm not that. But
But I'm sensing a but.
first, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Curse of Frankenstein, because that's still a really good movie. And like,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, still good. Yes.
like
It
I
is
feel
good.
like looking at like the original Mary Shelley novel, when you're hearing Victor describe his own like very sad story, from his perspective, it's the Frankenstein you're seeing in the Universal movie. What actually happened is the piece of shit that is Peter Cushing's Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Because he is just like this very cold, clinical, and they like take that to the nth degree.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially in the later movies.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
like even with Book Victor, who I think is shitty, like he's still got like this very like, oh poor me thing going on. No, this guy's just
No.
evil.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Cushing did not bring any sympathy to the role, and I love how he leans into it. Like, I love the bit in one of the later movies where one of his new friends is like, "You should stop doing this. This is bad, Victor. It's good." He's like, "You know what? All right, you're right. Would you do me a favor and go unclench those wires real quick?" "Oh, of course, Victor." Zap. I love that. I love how he's just like, "Yep, fuck with me, bitch. See what happens." And now I'm going to use your body for my experiments.
Yes.
He's
Um,
very much Reanimator. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
West
Oh, yes.
is very much
Yes.
based off of
Very much the
Cushing's
basis.
but I
Frankenstein.
think West has
Yes.
more
Yeah.
pathos than Peter Cushing's Victor Frankenstein.
I
Yeah,
know,
exactly,
yes.
But they're both very conniving in that way that I love.
Mhm.
But I also think like the monster makeup for Christopher Lee's monster in that movie is awesome, and they've
Yeah.
got like a lot of the setups from the book, and like got a lot of the names right, because like there's a Henry Victor name swap in the 31 movie that's like why.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
You can't get away with the no name swaps no matter what.
Universal just
stop
love
doing
doing
this.
that. They just love doing it.
Why
I know
did they? Does
Because
anyone
they
know?
thought it was funny. They like fucking with people.
There had to be a
Honestly,
reason.
that might be the best reason I've heard for it, because I haven't heard a better one yet.
I haven't heard a reason why they swapped the names.
Yeah.
And like with
No idea.
Dracula, I feel like Lucy is the best name suited to the actual Lucy character, because like it reminds me a little bit of Lucifer, and she's like the fallen angel
Yeah.
character
Mhm.
to me. But
Yeah.
that's Frankenstein
Or Lilith.
Mhm.
or Lilith.
Mhm.
They both start with L's.
I feel like Lucy's
see
a
what
bit
you
closer to Lucifer.
Yeah.
Never thought of that.
Other things to talk about later.
Mhm.
Well, where the hell was I? I got
Frankenstein.
You
We're
got-
talking about the name changes.
Oh yeah. But like they got that stuff right, like name wise and like character setups in the Hammer version, because it feels period accurate. It feels like this is actually Victor Frankenstein. There's a maid named Justine. Like all that stuff's in there, except that the monster hasn't got an ounce of sympathy or articulation whatsoever. It's a goddamn killing machine.
Yeah.
It literally kills the blind man.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not a lot of sympathy in this.
Yeah,
version
whereas,
of
like,
the-
Karloff's performance alone, like, really makes the 31 movie for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, like,
absolutely.
There's a
It's
lot more of that.
poetry.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot more of that poor me stuff with Henry Frankenstein in the 31 movie. But, like, I like that version of Dr. Frankenstein as well. So, point goes to Universal for me as well.
Point Universal. Sean, are you going to be the one to center this time?
No. I'm
Oh,
actually
dear.
not.
It's not
Oh,
looking
damn.
good
Really
for Hammer
tough,
right now.
really tough one for me. because I love both. I absolutely love both of them. Um, I will say the thing that I prefer in The Curse of Frankenstein is Dr. Frankenstein, and
Yeah.
The Curse of Frankenstein is all about him, and that's kind of the case throughout the whole series, of course. Um, the monster's kind of more in the background, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, he was great, Christopher Lee. I love the makeup, like
Mhm.
Martin was saying. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of there for the character of the monster, really, like compared to the 1931.
Yeah,
But I love Peter Cushing is absolutely awesome in this one, and I love the dynamic of his character, and we see him grow up from when he's a kid, and his whole descent into madness, is on this movie.
Yeah.
I just love how like he just doesn't give a damn. He'll do anything for his experiments to further his experiments. I love when he kills the old professor guy. Like, hey, watch out! And he like pushes him over the balcony.
that's
Like,
really
okay, now
funny
he's
to
straight
me
up killing people to
because
use
like
for his experiments.
like the other thing I love about him is he's not slick at all. Just
No.
nobody's around when he does this stuff. He's like, look out!
Boom. No, officer, I have no idea. He just seemingly lost control of all his motor functions and fell into the vat of acid. No idea. Crazy. Darndest thing.
Hey,
You
what's
would
up,
think I
Dino?
would go-
Hey, Dino.
Hey, Dino.
And hey, what's up, Dino? And once again, I will point out excellent score in the Hammer film.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Also, no
And,
score in the original Universal
Yes,
Frankenstein.
there
either.
wasn't.
Yeah.
We're taking that again.
and I also like the dynamic between um, Victor and his protege there. The professor guy, and their relationship is very interesting. He's like trying to stop him. No, you can't do this. This is wrong. And he's. I like that, and you didn't really get that in the 1931 version. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
But
with
yeah,
yeah. Also with Victor, though, I will say, like, he doesn't have a character arc. He's the same through the whole movie.
Mhm.
He doesn't learn anything.
that's
Nope.
true.
Nope.
Just more ways to reanimate dead tissue, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say he does learn something. He learns new ways to kill people and reanimate their corpses.
Yeah.
That's learning.
That's a good skill to have,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
But
Point.
yeah, everything you guys
Universal.
said, Boris Karloff just untouchable. He is
Yeah.
the monster. He's incredible. Like there's so much emotion in his performance, and like I love the scene when he looks up at the sky and he's
I
like,
was just about to bring that up.
trying to
Yeah.
understand what that is, and
Yeah, I think Karloff called that scene catching butterflies.
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
He
like you
made a
said,
monster human.
Oh, absolutely. Like especially with Bride,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about later. But like, yeah, even in just the first one, you definitely see the beginnings of those elements being brought into his performance.
and I will say this one has much better pacing than Dracula. I
Mm.
I am captivated through the entire film of Frankenstein, 1931.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I have to give it to them. So clean sweep.
Clean sweep for Universal in the Frankenstein round.
Yeah.
And
Also to
Hammer
add to that,
take
like,
it back in the next round. We'll see.
also to add to that though, like, Hammer wasn't allowed technically because Universal was threatening to sue them, but Universal's got the angry mob and the windmill. So,
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And I fucking love the angry mob scene. That's like
an element you just love in movies in general.
that is, but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the reason why I do is because of Frank. I mean, it just harkens back to that time. That's one of the reasons why Halloween 4 is one of my favorites because of that scene is so reminiscent of from
Oh, yeah.
Frankenstein. It's
Oh,
just so
absolutely.
cool, and I love the just the idea of people, you know, that are fairly good and everything else. You get them into a panic thing, they'll kill you. You know, I mean, there's just something fascinating psychologically about that that's always fascinated me.
Absolutely.
You know, who is the real? You know, as a cannibal movie once questioned, who are the real monsters?
Yeah.
You know. And I mean, for that time period, I mean, it's really deep. People kind of don't think of Frankenstein as deep as it really is.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Dino said he loved your hair.
Thank you.
What do you think about in the Curse of Frankenstein the cluelessness of Elizabeth's character? Like,
Oh, yeah.
she just doesn't have a clue what's going on.
Elizabeth
But that's
doesn't
how
get much to
some
do in
people
any
are.
of
I
these.
suppose so, but it doesn't make her a particularly compelling character.
But that's a real character, don't you think?
I guess, but for an on-screen thing, she's not that compelling. She's just kind of a ditz.
But does Elizabeth get to do much in any of these? Like, she's slightly
fair.
more
That's not-
proactive.
yeah.
in
That's
think-
fair,
I
actually.
think
Like,
Yeah.
she's ever so slightly more proactive in Universal, and then in Bride, Pretorius just comes in and is like, forget about her. She's
Don't worry
she
about
doesn't
her.
exist anymore.
Yeah.
Don't worry about her.
Yeah, I think in Kenneth Branagh's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I think she does more in that movie.
Oh, she gets to be the bride in that.
Yeah, I know she gets to be
she's
the
right
bride.
in
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she does more in general. But then
Yeah.
that movie also like super glorifies this like sort of kind of incestuous relationship.
Yeah.
that they
I
have.
know, yeah.
Like
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, that's the thing that always weirds me out about Kenneth Branagh was working through some things with that movie.
but
Let's just say
that's
that.
like in the book too, but like they
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
glorify it the way that movie does. Like Kenneth Branagh shirtless so many times in that movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But we know why. We all know
I'm
why.
not complaining, I suppose. But, you know.
Sean, what's next? We need to stop.
Well, was incest good? Because that's kind of what I
Sean,
thought.
next question.
Okay,
next
please,
question.
yeah, go on to the next.
boy.
Okay, let's start it.
So we got Universal's The Wolf Man, starring Lon Chaney, versus The Curse of the Werewolf from 1961.
But you
starring
know where
Oliver
I'm
Reed
going.
as
Yeah,
Oh
the
yes.
Wolf Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Monty, where do you fall?
This is going to be a hard choice because I love both movies to death when it
Yeah, I
comes
do
to
too.
werewolves. You know, I actually saw I saw the Wolfman first, and then after that, when I saw Hammerhead, the Curse of the Werewolf, and I saw that, and I love Oliver Reed's portrayal. I thought his wolf was more vicious than the Wolfman itself, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like Curse of the Werewolf as much more. But that transformation scene,
Yeah.
you really have to give them credit. I mean, he even
Oh, yeah.
puts Bella Totoro's the Wolfman to shame when it comes to transformation scene. It's like you just can't do CGI. She said, "What are you doing CGI? Look what they did in 19 when was it when it came out? 1939. I can't remember when.
1940 something. I
Yeah,
believe.
1941 or
1941.
something.
Yeah,
Like,
1941.
Yeah.
Why
Early
can't you-
40s, I believe.
Why can't you do special effects like that? That's like this fantastic.
Uh,
I
Instead,
know.
you're going to do some crappy ass CGI.
slight counter argument to that, Monty. Most people don't want to glue yak hair to their face, but
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, those people aren't real actors because I would do it.
Yeah, I think we all can say we would happily glue yak hair for the art.
I mean, trust me, I get the
Anything
fact.
for your craft, right? Jen?
Yeah, you would. You truly
Yeah.
would, and to help you get into character. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, they're not real actors then.
I mean,
You know,
it
hey,
might
look,
also be the effects team not wanting to go through the hassle of shaving a yak.
Yeah,
if that-
you
if-
obviously
You know
don't
how
love
much
your
of a
craft.
bitch it is to shave a yak?
I mean,
It's
Jack
not
Pierce at
easy.
Universal,
Fine.
who did most of these makeups, like he did the Frankenstein makeup too. He wanted to go through all of the hassle with everybody, and then they eventually
did.
like fired him and did like a simple mask on like Abbott and
Oh
Costello
my god.
for Lon Chaney. And Jack Pierce was not happy about it, but most other people were because they were like, "I don't want to sit in that makeup chair anymore. I don't like this."
Hey, put
Yeah,
this
like
way,
imagine
if-
the actor was like,
if Robert England can sit in the chair for that amount of time to put that makeup on for Freddy, or the guy that plays Vecna in Stranger Things 4, then you can do that too.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. So it's for me, it's Universal, the Wolfman.
Point Universal.
Anthropomantic
What about
Fiend.
you?
Okay. I swear I'm not a universalist.
I'm
Where?
sensing another butt.
Might as well just put another one down.
But yeah, I grew up with the Wolfman.
Yeah.
And like having like one that feels more rooted in folklore, which is very much what Curse of the Werewolf is. Like a lot of the stuff that we take as legitimate werewolf folklore is stuff that the writer made up for the Wolfman. But with Curse of the Werewolf, it's more of a period piece. It's drawing from actual like earlier werewolf folklore, which I love.
Yeah.
But Lon Chaney Jr. just has those unbelievably sad eyes.
Yeah.
Like you can feel his just like absolute terror at having to be this thing the entire time. And like I don't know of any other movie really like to be fair, like my favorite werewolf movie is Ginger Snaps, and that's a tragedy in its own way, but nothing has really encapsulated the tragedy of, oh my god, I have to be this thing the way the Wolfman has.
Hey, Coriander. Thanks for stopping by, Coriander.
Yeah, Coriander.
Right back, guys.
Yeah, no, you're entirely right, Fiend. You're entirely right there.
Some good points.
Very much so.
So another point.
Point Universal.
While we wait,
and then Hammer sitting there with a mere measly 2 points.
So we're waiting for Sean. Yeah,
Turn it around.
I swear I will give some points to Hammer.
Yeah, I know. I will. I will.
Yeah.
We haven't gone up to the movie yet, but,
and it will be painful.
Yes. So we're waiting for Sean to come back. You guys get to go next.
You go, sweetie.
Okay, well, now, legitimately, guys, the Wolfman, the werewolves are my favorite thing. Like, my first horror movie ever was American Werewolf in London. I was 4 years old, and it was just one of those experiences.
Magical.
It was magical. It was like how some kids feel about Disney. This was like, oh my god. And my mother was like, you need to see this, and it was in black and white. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's Universal. The point goes to Universal for me.
Point Universal.
Because while I will say, yes, Hammers is more vicious and is truer to our actual, if you want to go in the more, pure thing.
Reason of lore of werewolves.
Yes, and that's all great. But why it goes to Universal for me is because at the end of the day, it's a tragedy, which is the most horrific thing if you think about it. The poor guy didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't want to be evil. He didn't do and the gypsy, the curse. I mean, there is so much atmospheric in this movie when you think of werewolves. As much as I love American Werewolf in London and have that love for it, it's like the Wolfman. It's like, it's just so fucking great. And but again, it's the travesty that, I mean, it's just so heartbreakingly beautiful. He didn't do it, and he finds love. On top of that, he finds fucking love, and then fucking takes it away, which kind of shows you, Jen, sometimes that happens in life. It fucking sucks. I like the fact, I think maybe that the Wolfman might be the reason why sometimes I go, you know what, life don't always work out. I think it's a good lesson for a kid, because I was very young when I saw that, and it's a good lesson to show kids, hey, sometimes you can be a good person and life will still fuck you over. It's a wonderful.
Like literally.
Of you.
But no, that's where some of my outlook comes from. I mean, you could, but there's something heartbreakingly, tragically beautiful about this film. I love it. I just, everything about it, like, it's vicious. Like Hammer's vicious. I'll give it that. And it is more steeped in actual folklore, and they did make up a lot of stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't fucking care. It works. It just fucking works. It's my favorite. Like, that is my favorite movie. You know that.
Yeah, it's your favorite Universal.
Yeah,
it's my favorite Universal.
Like, I will say, Hammer's usually more vicious, but the Wolfman hits you where it hurts way more than Curse the Werewolf.
It does. It does.
And like, really, what makes it even more tragic is not only did he not do anything wrong, he gets hurt because he went out of his way to help this girl.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
tries to
that's
do the right
exactly-
thing, and it
that's what I
fucking
meant.
destroys him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He does
It
also
does.
creep on her with the telescope earlier. Thanks, Dan.
That's true. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jason?
Well,
Yeah,
I
hey,
mean,
Jason, hi!
look, he may creep on her with a telescope, but let's be honest here. Curse of the Werewolf is way more of a creep.
Well, see,
Well,
I don't
everyone in
think
that
it's
movie is
creepy.
more of a
I think
creep.
it's kind of nice.
well, there's the other stuff that the Curse of the Werewolf does.
Well, yeah.
Plus his dad.
Oh yeah, the backstory. I was like, that's like a different horror movie in and of itself.
That's the crazy thing about Curse of the Werewolf is that backstory is like just kind of comes out of nowhere. You're like, what the fuck? I came here for a werewolf. What is going on?
Is it much like a sacred deer?
No. Okay, so
You've seen it, huh, Monty?
Oh yes.
Dan Carr,
okay,
yeah.
so for me,
point.
this one is really
Oh,
this
you
is
better
this,
say the right answer.
this is really hard for me because I love
We got our
both of
silver
them.
canes ready.
I have an immense amount of fondness for both of them. I'm gonna say it. I'm voting Wolfman, but I just want to talk about the sheer insanity and batshitness that is Curse of the Werewolf for a
Please.
minute, because it has some of my favorite what the hell things. Again, as we were talking about, the entire like first 20 minutes, that opening thing is like, okay, so why is he a werewolf? Well, a rich aristocratic dude has a fancy for a woman, hires her, tries to rape her several times. She rejects him, so he throws her into a dungeon with a wild man in it, and then that child grows up to be the werewolf of the thing. And is he a werewolf because his father was a wild man? No, it's because he was born on Christmas. Because Jesus doesn't
Legit
like
folklore.
him, which is actual folklore that people believed for a while. If you were born on Christmas, then a curse would be supplanted on you because Jesus is a petty asshole, I guess, who doesn't like sharing his birthday with you. So this poor sucker got turned into a werewolf because of it, completely out of his control. And yeah, it's crazy. It is one of the craziest like things of a werewolf movie until you learn the folklore behind it. Then it makes sense. But the first time watching that movie as a kid, it's like, what the what? You know, also, like, I don't know if this is a positive or not, but like Curse of the Werewolf is also probably one of the more yikes of the movies, considering you got a bunch of pasty white British people in brown face with playing Hispanic characters. So
Oh, jeez, you're right.
everyone
Yeah,
forgets
that's
about that until I bring it up.
We
Yeah.
don't forget about it. Most people just choose to just
Yeah, you
kind
get to
of
see Oliver Reeve play a Spaniard. It's yikes.
Yeah, that's the I couldn't figure it out. I told my mom. I told my mom when I first saw that. Why is he trying to act Spanish? He's not Spanish. He's white.
Yeah.
my mom just shook it. So my mom just shook his head, and she couldn't explain it.
Yeah, but no, I love Curse of the Werewolf for its sheer what the hellness of a lot of it, and teaching me some cool folklore and questionable stuff about it. I do really love the movie.
And rape. Attempted rape. Multiple attempted rapes.
That's something, I guess, if you're
And
Jen.
one that is
But
apparent.
for me,
like-
I
And a
mean,
successful one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. Was that? They do they really explain what happens there? Was it consensual?
I
I'm
mean,
guessing
Somehow, I
no.
don't think so.
It was they were women. Do you get? I mean, it's not about that. I
No,
mean,
it-
Wow,
it's much
you're
like
so-
today. It's much like today, Sparky. If you guns
Dude's
have
got a
more rights
bone
in
in
my
his hand.
vagina
He's
right
like
now.
all hairy. He's like a beast.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like
no,
I'm just imagining like the deleted scene where like the wild man and her just like talk things out for a minute beforehand.
yeah, they actually had a really sweet, healthy relationship. You just
Yeah.
didn't see any of that.
But that
It was
would have
the
been a
inspiration
whole
for
other
Beauty and the
movie.
Beast.
So they
Might
had
as
to
well
cut
have
it.
been a caveman and just bash him with a bat, like and take her away like the old
But
cartoons.
as I said, I gotta give it to Universal
You better.
because Lon Chaney Jr. gives one of the finest performances of any movie ever.
Yeah.
Him as Talbot just works so well. As Fiend said, the sheer sadness and emotion he conveys in those eyes are just mesmerizing. The transformation sequence, great. The
gypsy woman.
The Romani
Maliva, I love
Romani
Maliva.
woman. It's all really great. Like it's a true like most Universal films were tragedies at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But the Wolfman in a series of tragedies, the Wolfman comes out being the most tragic of all of them, and it works just so well. I love the hell out of the movie. It's not my favorite of Universal's out.
It is mine,
but it is up there in like top 5 easy for me. I love it. Point to Universal, even if it's not as crazy as Hammer. So Sean.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. Is Universal sweeping a second time?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay. I had this at the ready just in case.
Oh,
Yeah, you cannot beat Lon Chaney's performance. Like Christian said, one of the greatest of all time. And
Jason, yes, Bela playing
tragedy.
Bela.
It's the tragedy of it that makes it so great, and his performance and the tragedy in his performance shines throughout, and he's such a likable guy too. You know, you don't want to see all this bad crap happen to him.
It's life, though.
Yeah,
it taught little Jen. See what happens, Jen.
Yeah, he's both the most bestial and savage while also being the most human. You can totally see why, like, the later crossover movies kind of pitted him as, like, the protagonist of all of them and kind of the hero to root for.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he maintains that throughout the whole series. He's great in every movie, you know?
Yeah, he's
like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman lives in like this really interesting moral gray area, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I know.
Jake's favorite.
It is a bit creepy when he looks through the telescope at the girl across the
street.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not bothered by it.
Jen.
So, and then the girl's like,
Jen.
What, you were watching me?
But then I'm the type of girl, you know, like purposely like leaving my window open, especially if it's an Irishman. Hey, Marty, look at me.
Somewhere in Ireland right now, Marty's going, God damn it, Jen.
Probably.
God damn it, Jen. You're driving me crazy, woman.
He just gets a telescope in the mail one day, and he's like...
And it's a great supporting cast, like you said. With, you know, you even had Bela Lugosi there as the gypsy, and
Bela
the
is
gypsy
Bela.
woman was great too.
Yeah, Maliva's so good. Like her whole little monologue that she does over the dead bodies of her son and of Talbot is one of my favorite bits of dialogue in Universal.
Totally.
And Claude Rains as his father, great.
Hammer could use some help.
We'll say the the makeup effects are very good on the Curse of the Werewolf, though.
Yeah, they were.
They're pretty badass. Like, but yeah, I have to. I think the pace kind of hurts Curse of the Werewolf too. The fact that you don't see him till the very end, you know. It's an interesting story, but it can drag a little bit towards the middle, you know. But yeah, we'll have to give it to the Wolfman.
Yay!
Clean sweep.
Point Universal in its second clean sweep.
Good, I can talk to all
What's
of you
up, Ben?
people.
Hey, Ben!
Hey, Ben!
Hey, Ben!
How you doing?
What's up, Ben? What's up, JM?
Yeah, Jason said he's not a fan of Curse of the Werewolf.
That's fair.
I get that.
Yeah,
valid.
Is it
I
the right?
enjoy it for what it is, but what it is interesting.
Yes.
Oliver Reed is great in the film, but he's not very likable either, though.
No, he's not.
It's a
Big
different
difference.
portrayal, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. What's next, Sean?
Oh boy. The Bride of Frankenstein versus the Brides of Dracula.
Ooh.
And now I'll
Ooh.
explain my reasons for this matchup. Technically, the correct matchup should be against Frankenstein created woman, but
Yes.
we know how that would turn out. Come on, it'll be
Okay.
blown out of the water.
I mean,
So-
I kind of love Frankenstein created woman. There's a lot of stuff I really like
Oh,
about
please.
that movie. There's some cool queer coding in there. I like. It's a pretty good movie.
But is it good? Is it better than Bride?
I mean, no, but neither is Brides of Dracula. Spoilers, neither is Brides of Dracula. So, you know.
But lesbians.
I mean, yeah.
Lesbians! Everyone loves lesbians. Other lesbians love lesbians, and straight men love lesbians.
The two kinds of people.
We all
Yeah.
love it.
Only two people.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I would
Just
argue
like the
that I'm
Alex, the old
I'm a
Howard
different
Stern
kind
show
of
or
person,
something.
but I do also love lesbians. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's gonna be a point of. That's gonna be a thing later. Thank you.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
Certain movies.
Yeah, save the
Yeah.
lesbian talk for a few entries.
Well, there's a little bit in
A
this,
little
though.
bit, but anyway.
But more behind my reasoning is brides in the name and and the fact that this is a phenomenal follow-up to a phenomenal original movie, the same as Brides of Frankenstein is an
they're
amazing
both-
follow-up to an amazing original. So. Anthro Fiend, take it away.
Okay. I'm really not backing up my case for not being a universalist.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
But and like I feel like I'm betraying my vampires here a little
Yeah.
bit too. But like Brides of Dracula is the movie nobody talks about.
No, they don't. They don't.
Because it's the one without Christopher Lee.
Yeah, it does.
Besides like 7 Golden Vampires, but that's like another animal in and of itself.
I hear way more people talk about that movie than Brides. Actually, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
More
I do
people
too.
talk
Yeah,
about
even
that.
so.
It's amazing because when I first saw the 7, it's like everyone thought it was some type of kung fu movie that had Dracula in it.
I mean, literally, that's what it is.
I know. That's why I heard more people
look
talk
at
about
this,
that.
Horrific nightmares.
Ooh. Jason
Yeah,
goes
but a
with
lot
Brides
of people
Dracula.
don't talk about
Interesting.
Brides of Dracula though. But but you're right, Martin, because it doesn't have Christopher Lee in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what it does have is Peter Cushing still doing his amazing Peter Cushing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will also say it immediately decides to disregard the world building they did in Horror of Dracula, because in that one they're like, bats are a myth. Immediately has a giant bat that
Giant
is,
bat.
that is the count in Brides of Dracula. And like I love the vampires in that. I love the like setup of like it feels like Horror of Dracula. You've got Jonathan Harker going there like in the book, but he's like there to destroy Dracula. Like he's got this secret mission and agenda, whereas book Jonathan's completely oblivious. I feel like you have more of that setup in Brides of Dracula almost, where you've got this person going there and being like, huh, I guess I'm just here. Nothing weird here. Wait, what's going on?
Oh, wait, what? Oh, they're vampires.
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, I think it's a really solid vampire movie, but there's like Bride of Frankenstein is one of my favorite horror films of all time, even above the original Frankenstein, because you've got even more development of the monster in ways that like more things that happen in the Frankenstein book happen in Bride than they do in the first movie. And you've got the beautiful scene with the blind man. You've got more angry mob stuff. You've got Jesus metaphors.
Yeah, a lot of Jesus.
And like when the censors told James Whale to take that stuff out, he went and did reshoots and put more in, which I think is
Nice.
great.
This is why James Wales is a legend.
Absolutely. And like I love that they actually bring Mary Shelley into it, and you've got Elsa Lanchester double cast as Shelley and the
Yeah,
bride.
That was cool.
And Pretorius. Like
Pretorius.
what makes that
With his
movie
skulls.
for me.
Yes. Just
Like,
such a vibe. Like I would just love at any day at my best just to be Pretorius at any
Yes.
day. It's just such a vibe I aspire for.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so we're picking up on the heels of the last movie. I somehow like forget that Elizabeth is played by a completely different person now. And like don't realize that the Burgomaster is supposed to be the same character because it's literally an entirely different person. But then Pretorius comes in and I forget about all of that.
Yep.
Yep.
Like he steals the show.
Point Universal.
Point Universal.
One day Hammer's gonna get one.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, it amazes me is how they came up with Bride of Dracula and not have. I forget the reason why he didn't do this movie.
Well,
Was
also,
it scheduling conflicts?
Was it because
Yeah,
he
I think
died in the
I
last
think it was
movie?
scheduling
Because they
conflict.
certainly didn't uphold that.
because Peter Cushing isn't in Dracula Prince of Darkness either.
That's
because
true.
of
He's not.
scheduling
Yeah, he's not.
conflicts.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they just needed a break.
Yeah,
Honestly, because they were doing movies back to back all the time.
Yeah,
yeah, because
I think Christopher Lee was working on something else.
Yep.
Probably.
I thought that's what
Also, we're not there yet, but scheduling conflicts are the reason Ingrid Pitt wasn't in Lust for a Vampire. I'm still bitter.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I first saw Bride of Dracula, I was like, "Oh yes." Like, where's Christopher Lee? Where's Christopher Lee? He's not in this. Who's this guy playing Dracula?
What is
Who
that
the
count's
fuck is
name
this?
again?
And it's not even Dracula. It's somebody else's. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, like
I can't
it's,
Yeah.
what is his name?
I don't
I don't.
remember. It's just
On
not
the tip of my
Dracula.
tongue.
I know. Why is it? Because I'm like, why are they
It's
calling this
it's
Bride
like
of Dracula?
It's the Baron
something.
Meinster.
Thank you.
Yep.
What a name.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Classic.
the film is still nice. I still like it because I'm a vampire guy. I love vampires. But, it's Bride of Frankenstein. It's like, what? How can you compare the two? You
Yeah.
got to go with Universal. She don't like me.
don't like
She
me.
hates me.
She hates me.
Yep. Yep.
Like
She hates me.
Great jumping off point, actually.
Yeah.
Point
Universal.
Do you want to go or shall I?
You
Jen,
go.
Do
Okay.
you even
Jumping
need to
off
go?
what Monty just said, like I like the Dracula,
Bride
it's
of Dracula's good.
it's fine, but I saw this one super late. I came late to this one, and when I was watching it, I kept thinking, where the fuck is Christopher Lee? Where the hell is he? We're
He's
having
in the Dracula's in the title. I don't see no fucking Dracula
Yeah,
here.
I was like, what the
It's-
and so I guess I'm a little bitter toward that. And then I was realized I guess he's not it. But why the fuck is Christopher Lee, man? Fuck this bullshit. But
But
it's
Peter
not
Cushing.
bad.
It's a good movie.
It's fine for what
It's
it
a good
is.
standalone film.
It
Yes.
is, but
Mhm.
you can't. I mean, it's like apples and oranges. You can't compare. I guess I am a universal person because what I love about Bride of Frankenstein is what Monty was just talking about. This is a man-woman relationship. She hates me. No one ever talks about that aspect. It just in those
At the
little.
very end.
At the very end, it sums up men and women's relationships so well, or just not even men and women,
Just people.
just people, how you can be such polar opposites and look at the world in such a different way. And I think that's it was such a brief thing in that movie, but it says so goddamn much.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of other cool things in the movie,
Oh,
but
yes.
just when she wakes up and screams and sees him, we've all been there,
Well, I
right?
mean-
We've all had that one date. You just go,
Well, I mean, the entire movie very much is like an exploration on like humanity and their relationships.
I never knew.
Look at that in the scene with the blind man,
Exactly.
as well as
Mhm.
other interactions.
Yeah, the thing I will say is that, like, even in the book, the bride gets destroyed before anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, the monster finally has everything his way. He's finally able to have this, like, perfect companion created for him. And it still doesn't work out because
Nope.
she fucking hates him.
Yep.
Ain't that a woman for you, though?
But, like, she's just been born. She's a child, and this person's like, wife. And
Wife.
what would you do?
Yeah.
Well, if it was me, I'd be like,
You don't deserve
does
that
the
wig,
monster
Tim.
have an Irish accent?
Point Universal.
Oh man.
What about you, Spark?
Oh, god damn it. I really hate to do this, but yeah,
Uh-oh.
sorry, Brides of Dracula. You didn't stand a chance here. Bride of Frankenstein is my favorite Universal film. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's an absolute masterpiece of a film, as all of you have gone over pretty much everything, but like, Pretorius, just the vibe that is Pretorius.
His skulls?
Yes, the evolution of Frankenstein's characterization and Karloff's performance. You know, I love that bit at the very end of the movie. You know, we should stay dead. I love all that. I love the sort of bond that him and Frankenstein Victor kind of develop over the film. I love all.
That's
of that.
really the true love story.
I mean, well, if you, gee, it's almost like you just hit on the entire idea of Rocky Horror.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
what they were going with.
The whole movie, I think, is an absolute masterpiece. The atmosphere it builds, the set work. I love the set work. Like, it's very memorable in the first film. I think this is the movie that just like this is the sets that I picture when I think of universes. I picture that log cabin. I picture the laboratory. I picture Pretorius is like kind of mausoleum that he chills out in with talking to skulls, which again is just such a vibe. I'm here for that every day.
Crypts, and like, that's like my favorite music cue in Universal. Just like the one that plays where he's just drinking in a crypt. It's great.
I love everything about that. It's such a wonderful film. It's one of my favorite films of all time. So sorry, Brides of Dracula, you're good. You got Peter Cushing in there and Van Helsing.
Where the fuck is Christopher Lee?
It's wonderful. It is a movie. Actually, I didn't like it initially when I first watched it, when I was going through the Hammer films, but I have since revisited it and actually developed, like, it is a good movie on its own. But it is very much a good movie on its own. Would it be enhanced by the addition of just at least one or two scenes of Christopher Lee Dracula?
Well,
yeah,
yes.
Probably. But most films would be, you know. Look, it's Star Wars. You know, but like, it's a good movie. It's a very good vampire film, but it stood no chance.
No
here.
blind man?
Point to Universal.
Well, speak for yourself.
Oh my God! somebody's broken the
Dracula,
cycle.
baby.
Oh my
Sean,
God,
why?
Somebody
Sean,
broke the
what are you
cycle.
doing?
Wow.
Why? Why?
I figured Sean was gonna pick this one too.
I'll tell you why, because I have some issues with A Bride of Frankenstein. Biggest one, Ula O'Connor. She kills me. I cannot stand.
I love her.
I will murder you. I will murder you in your sleep.
When she sees the monster.
She's amazing.
Everything she does is way over the top, freaking ridiculous.
So you don't like me, Sean? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what I'm hearing.
I do love a lot of the stuff, like you guys said. You know, I love the scenes with the monster and the blind man. He's starting to learn, starting to talk. That's great stuff. And yeah, Elsa Lancaster, great, but she's only in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They do that great makeup job, the great costume design, and she's only in it for 5 minutes. I love everything with Boris Karloff and the monster and everything, but it has a lot of camp value in that wasn't in the original. That kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which is part of why I love it, but not why you like it.
Yeah, I can understand that. I love the added addition of the camp to it personally, but I guess I can understand that.
And then I know you guys love the Pretorius guy, and then you had
Don't
these little people in the glass bottles. It's a little cheesy. You know?
But his skulls, Sean, his skulls.
But like he is the personification of like the camp stuff that James Whale loves so much.
Yes. Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah. But like, he's Pretorius.
Yes.
Come on.
You
But
don't
it's
like
conflicting
Victoria,
to me.
Sean? You
You got
really
this
don't?
great stuff, this great serious stuff with the monster, and then you got this
Yeah, but like there's all
campy
these
stuff
tragic
going on
self-loathing
the other
characters, and then
side.
he comes in and he's like, "I'm evil, I know it, and I love it," and
And,
that's what I
I am
about
okay
him.
with it at this point.
I
yeah.
accept me
I
for
had
me.
that existential crisis over whether or not I'm good or not a long time ago. I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah,
Well, I'll
And my
explain
skull
why I
friends.
love
Yeah.
Brides of Dracula. I think it's an excellent movie that is highly underrated that nobody, like you said, nobody talks about because it doesn't have Christopher Lee. Yes, I would love him to be in it, but I like the story of the mother who's locked her son up, chained up to the room and keeps him like hostage. Doesn't want to let him get loose and kill everyone in the town and everything. And then you've got this woman who kind of fell into their lap and trying to save him and help him. And she thinks she's doing the right thing, but she just released a monster onto the town that's going to kill everybody.
yeah. That is one of my favorite like setups of just like someone chained in some remote room, like because it's like this ultimate moral dilemma of just like, is this person who I'm living with a monster right now, or is there a reason this person's chained to the wall? Like, you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Or it could just be a kinky thing.
and then you've got
I
Peter
mean, that might be
Cushing
the
just
reason.
freaking
Yeah.
awesome again. I love him. And there's some really like horrific scenes like this, especially the scene when the woman comes out of the ground. Amazing scene right there with the score
Mhm.
going on. Her hand slowly comes out of the dirt, and then they get the lady on the ground. Like, rise, great stuff. And
It is.
Very cool.
how boss is Peter Cushing in that scene when he gets bit, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna burn this thing right off.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. That is
Yeah,
a good
that's
reason.
pretty rad.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm here for that, in fairness.
And another
Point hammer. It
phenomenal
finally gets a third
hammer
point.
score. And yes, the scene with the heavy lesbian undertones is
Undertones? Overtones.
What undertones?
What
Sean?
undertones?
I mean, it is subtext.
They're just a couple gal pals. They're just a couple. They're just as historians will later call them, good friends.
I mean, it's gonna get less and less subtextual as these movies progress.
Yeah, that's true.
But even then, yeah, I'll save that conversation for later because I have a rant.
Oh, I know you do. I can bet.
Are they like the gal pals in The Haunting?
Ooh, maybe
Ooh.
like the gal pals in The Haunting.
Just a little bit.
Very good friends.
I love The Haunting.
well, at least
I do too.
we got one.
Mhm.
Scoreboard looking pretty sad so far.
All right, what's
Hey, we're only
next?
like halfway through though.
We're halfway through.
Hammer still only has 3 points.
How many points does Universal have exactly?
Okay,
They're gonna come back
Sean,
like
talk about the
Rocky.
next movie, and I'll do a count.
Okay.
Well, I am
16.
interested in this one. The next
How
round.
does that even happen?
I don't know.
We got the Universal's Mummy from 1932 versus the Hammer version of the Mummy from 1959.
That is Dracula.
Oh boy.
Get the right box.
I mean, Universal's
signs
Mummy,
later.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, big plot similarities.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Just a little bit.
Good point. Anthropomantic to Fiend. What is your pick?
I'm accepting the fact that I'm a Universalist slowly but surely.
Oh no!
Hammer's Mummy is really solid. Like, I think it's Curse of the Mummy's Tomb that's actually my favorite of the
Same.
Hammer Mummy movies. Like, I love that movie. Is that the one where the servant is like, I want you to destroy my body as painfully as possible? And
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
That's the one.
That's a great movie. And I love that you've got Christopher Lee as Karis in Hammer's movie. And like he does a lot of like eye acting in that, because like
He does.
as the monster, like somehow Karis has more pathos than the monster, when usually it's the other way around in the Universal stuff, like especially, yeah, because you've got the really pathos infused Karloff thing, and then just Karis, who's just like a lumbering mummy. There's some pathos with Karis the mummy in the Hammer movie, and like a lot of really good eye acting, as I said. But the Universal movie just has that great atmosphere to it. Karloff actually gets a speaking role, and the thing that really edges it out for me is that scene where not Renfield goes into the room and reads from the parchment, and you just hear him like laughing after he sees the mummy. Like the he went for a little walk scene, just so good.
He went for a little.
You should have seen his face.
Monty G.
Point Universal.
Monty G.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows that the first horror movie I saw was Universal Monsters: The Mummy.
I didn't actually know that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't either.
I did.
Oh. Well, now you guys knew. Yeah,
Ooh.
but that was the first horror movie that I saw. Was Universal Monsters: The Mummy. Very interesting movie. Carlos Boloff, first speaking role. I like the fact that he got to play two characters in this particular one, but the same character, but he portrayed this other guy. I like the fact is when he finally gets caught and he ages to his real age. I thought that was pretty fascinating. But for the first time when I actually saw Hammer's The Mummy, I'm like, wow, I was impressed by that one. And of course, it's the great late Christopher Lee. And as much as I appreciate what The Mummy has done for me, and the fact that that was my first horror movie, I have to go and give this one edge to Hammer.
Oh,
Yeah.
And to Jason in the chat, that's valid. I will say that the Karis movies, like the later Karis Universal movies, really bleed together for me and for a lot of people. Like the same guy who called himself the Universalist at the convention did he did a PowerPoint presentation on the Mummy movies, and he created an acronym to help you remember the order of the Lon Chaney Jr. Karis movies.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
that actually is not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they do blend. I like them better than the original, but yeah, they do blend.
They do.
So yeah, I say I'm not surprised. Jason said he found the Universal movie boring, which I'm not surprised. You might find it because there's really not much action in the Universal Monster Mummy. It's just the atmosphere and the creepiness is what propels that movie.
Which is why I think I like it.
Yeah, that's why I liked it too. But then, like I said, it's mainly because of the Christopher Lee and how that movie is why I like that more than Universal Monsters the Mummy.
And Peter Cushing.
Oh yeah, Peter Cushing too.
Oh yeah.
Yep, both of them.
Yeah, I'm also going to add a couple things. The Universal Mummy, literally has David Manners playing Jonathan Harker again.
Yeah.
And Edward Van Sloan
pretty much
playing Van Helsing.
Van Helsing again. I always lovingly call the Mummy Dracula 2.
It is Dracula 2.
I know.
It's literally like you've got that was another component of that presentation, because it was like, what does the Mummy owe to Dracula? And then later it was, what does Dracula owe to the Mummy? Because the reincarnation thing comes back in the Coppola movie.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god, that's right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I never noticed that. Holy shit.
But my favorite thing is that in the later Karis Universal movies, the Mummy and Ananka drown in this swamp in one city, and then they rise in a swamp in a completely different city in the next movie.
The swamps are connected.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but there's like a
no,
tunnel
literally.
or something.
Yeah, this guy doing the
Something.
presentation actually like wrote a full like book that he was selling there that's basically Kyrie's fanfic. And like he was like, yeah, I had to figure out a way to get around that. I don't know what it was, but
They used ancient Egyptian magic.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Bill. I was 6 or 7 years old when I first saw The Mummy, and unfortunately, it was not in the movie theater.
also the
about
timeline
you?
of the Kyrie's movie, like, Mummy's Tomb like takes place 30 years after the one before that. So technically, it takes place in the 70s. And then, like, another one later in the franchise technically takes place in, like, the 90s. So, you know.
These movies make no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Let's just agree on that. These movies make no goddamn sense.
They don't, but, you know, what are you going
Lon
to do?
Chaney was the monster in the one of the later ones.
Yeah, Lon Chaney Jr. is the only actor to, like, going back to the Wolfman, own his own monster at that studio and play everybody else's monsters too.
Yep.
Yeah.
He played all of them at least once.
Yeah, he
Yep.
did.
Yep.
What about you?
What about Jen? Okay, so really what my favorite mommy movie is?
That one isn't in the running.
I know, but I like the
I
Brandon.
know you
Oh,
love Tom
God.
Cruise.
Come
I know you.
Fuck you.
I know you have the hots for Tom
Fuck you.
Cruise.
No, fuck you. I should slap you for that. No, like
I
my
saw that
mommy
movie in
is the
theaters. I
Brandon
have
Fraser
the ticket taped to my wall over here. I didn't.
one. God, no.
Oh man.
But like I'm gonna actually probably surprise you because I'm actually gonna go with the Hammer movie because
Point to
Christopher fucking Lee. I mean, and I also think that the Universal is a little slow.
It is.
It drags.
If your complaint with Dracula is that it's too slow and down paced, then you will hate the Mummy because it is slower than molasses.
Yeah, and I don't think the Dracula is slow,
No.
but I can understand people.
I've heard a lot of people have an issue with it though.
I can understand that, but it's just Christopher Lee. I mean, and I love everybody in Universal. I do, but Christopher Lee, and it's just a better movie. Like and I'll be honest, I don't love the Hammer, but out of the two, I'll take the Hammer over the Universal just on this
and
one.
at the end, and in a three-way battle royale, you would choose
Brendan
you would choose
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
I know that's probably blasphemous, but fuck it, I fucking love that movie.
And-
I'm gonna own it.
And in a four-way battle royale, you would choose Tom Cruise.
No, in a four-way battle, it'd be Marty.
To choose CGI rock.
I hate that Tom Cruise movie. Fuck, goddamn me, I hate that movie. That movie
I
is
didn't
so
hate it.
bad.
It's not good, but I didn't hate it.
I mean, here's my thing with Tom Cruise's The Mummy, and they try. There's some creepy elements in the film, but Tom Cruise is miscast. You know, when I saw the film, all I got was Mission Impossible. That's what I got.
And
That's
I'll give it
true.
to Tom Cruise. When he's a vampire, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was. Yeah, he was very good in interview. He can do horror stuff.
He
It's just
should have
was
played
just
the Mummy.
playing
That would have been more
The
Mission
Rock.
Impossible again.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah,
more Femme Mummy in that, which is great.
yeah, that's true. I did
We
like
don't have enough
Femme
of
Mummy,
those.
Yeah.
but you know, that Tom Cruise one just, you know. But anyway,
It killed a franchise. They were trying to reboot it, and it killed it.
that franchise died 3 times prior.
It did.
I feel like I had something else to say, and then we got off on this tangent.
Ooh.
God damn it, I don't remember.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, about the pacing. Like,
Oh,
I feel like the original Mummy, like it just moves at mummy pace. Like
Yeah,
it's
it does.
not
It
running.
does.
It
Like,
does.
which
It's
fits.
just-
it's a slow stumble.
It
That's
is.
fair, honestly. Yeah.
And Christopher Lee just has some sort of magnetism in this one. It just works so much
he
better.
definitely does. He definitely.
And I
does.
hate to say that, but he does.
That's entirely fair. That's entirely fair. So point Universal for you.
No,
Oh,
point to Hammer.
Point Hammer. Sorry.
Don't fuck this up.
Look, you shouldn't have given someone with mild dyslexia the goddamn scoring job, okay?
That's true.
Is your dyslexia that bad that you're writing Hammer is universal now?
Ah, damn it, everyone's been voting Hammer this whole time.
No wonder.
No, okay, so for me,
It's rigged.
it's rigged. Yes, I rigged this one. No, for me, both of them are, let's say, neither of the company's high points.
No.
The original Mummy is good for what it is. It has some stuff I really like about it. Is it basically Dracula Egypt edition? Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot lamer.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I like about the original Mummy, like Fiend said, I like the one monologue. I like all the flashback stuff to like ancient Egypt and like the backstory and stuff. I think all that stuff's really cool. But honestly, out of the original Mummy is like the weakest of the Universal Mummy movies for me, even if they do all sort of blend together. So I'm giving it to good old Hammer Mummy. You got Christopher Lee, who's just wonderful. It has actually, I think the makeup effects for this one in particular hold up really damn well. They look really nice.
Yeah.
It just overall, it's not a favorite of mine either from Hammer, but it is. I like both of them. I like it for what it is. It's solid. Can you tell I don't have much to say about either of them? Point Hammer.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Really quick before Sean starts though, I'm not gonna shut up for this entire stream. I'm gonna talk after.
That's fine. You're the guest.
But and then I'm gonna promptly forget what I'm gonna say. But like, for one thing, I really think is a strength of the original Mummy is like, it's Dracula Egypt edition, but instead of just like this quiet staking scene, you literally have the gods smiting him, which is awesome.
Fucking spears everywhere.
Yep. Also, there was supposed to be a lot more in that flashback scenes, a lot more flashbacks to the different incarnations of Ankhsenamen through the different eras of time. And there's like literally like some, like the only remnant of that is like in the final credits, there's like some dude credited as like a Roman soldier that's literally not in the movie. But yeah.
Sean.
Hammer.
Yeah.
Time, baby.
Hammer gets a clean sweep.
Well, no, Fiend went.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It gets an almost sweep. Hammer still has yet to get its sweep.
So yeah, it's just got more action. It's got a lot of really cool like action, like the battles between Peter Cushing and when he stabs him with the spear thing. Awesome stuff. Christopher Lee is a great lumbering monster in this one, better than he was when he was a Frankenstein monster, I'd say. And his scenes in the opening were really cool too.
Yeah.
Before he was killed, And I think it's kind of goes the opposite way with the Universal one, where he starts off as the monster and then he becomes young again. And I do really enjoy Boris Karloff's performance, though. He's really good.
Yeah.
But he's
They're
good in
both very
everything.
good.
So.
Karloff's trying, but Christopher Lee
It is definitely kind of cool to see Karloff play a role where he has like a lot of dialogue as opposed to Frankenstein. It is kind of cool to see that.
And he's properly menacing.
Yeah. No, those sunken-in eyes they give him, like a couple of the close-ups on it, those look really good.
I love the close-up shot where his face is dark and he's like,
they kind of perfected the glowing eyes thing they couldn't quite get lined up in Dracula.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah.
Yes. Oh. I never thought of that either.
I don't know. Yeah, that's sad too.
But yeah, I think it was disappointing for me that you don't see more of the monster, And like you said, the pacing is a problem. It's slow. Mummy's pace, like you said.
Yeah.
I think the Hammer version is just a lot more fun.
They do more with it.
Like you said, it's not one of their top movies, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Hammer's definitely the better version. I think on this one.
Hammer.
Woohoo!
We gotta win! Yay!
It's still losing horribly.
It's a little better now.
Shall we get into this one? A very interesting battle. Dracula's Daughter from 1936 versus
God
the
damn it.
Vampire Lovers from Hammer.
I'm a bad person for not having either of these movies, but yeah.
John, why'd you make me do this?
Why did you open this Pandora's box?
Good way to
I did it
segue
especially
that.
for Anthropomantic Fiend.
Yeah, why did you
This
open
is
this
torture.
Pandora's?
Well, the
Yeah.
movies love to open box.
I'll be right back.
Both very underrated, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
for different reasons. Like, I feel like Vampire Lovers is considered a little sleazy, kind of, by some people, because it shows more nudity. That's when Hammer started bringing in more nudity into movies, and some people look at it as like exploitation, but I completely disagree with that. But
I don't think it's exploitation.
and then you
No.
have Dracula's Daughters, and the one that never gets talked about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'll let Anthropomantic Fiend speak on this. Speak on this one.
Everybody get your popcorn. We're in for the long haul.
Okay. So, yeah, I could talk about both of these for the rest of the stream if I really wanted to. So these are two of the most underrated movies from each studio, in my opinion, and my favorite movie from each studio.
Uh-oh.
Also both, both lesbian coded vampire movies.
Coded. That's
Coded.
cute. Coded.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get into that in a minute with Vampire Lovers, especially.
Yeah.
And they're also two of the movies from both studios that really show like tragic vampires with a sympathetic side to them really well.
Yeah.
So Dracula's Daughter is very personal to me because it is like I wrote a whole goddamn fan fiction about it. Okay?
That's devotion right there.
Yeah. Excuse me for a moment. I have to let my cat out of the room.
Kitty.
He's stuck. Yeah. His name's Moriarty. He's a black cat. I love him.
That's a cool name.
Kitty.
I know.
How about you, Monty? I'm curious.
It's been a while since I've seen both movies, The Vampire Lovers and Dracula's Daughter. I was kind of not understanding Dracula's Daughter because when I saw it was a kid, so that movie didn't kind of make sense to me, and then I eventually saw The Vampire Lovers when I was older, and I agree with Martin. It's more of a tragic story with The Vampire Lovers as opposed to Dracula's Daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything else, I would have to go to Vampire Lovers. That's what I would go to, is because it's more of a tragic story, and I like that more than I actually did like Dracula. So I think Dracula's Daughter is probably one of the first probably the one and only Universal Monsters film movie that I did not like or enjoy watching.
Interesting.
Back to you, Fiend.
Point Hammer.
Okay. So some words about Dracula's Daughter, because
I
I love that.
This is coming.
So
Oh yeah, by the way, and it's not because of Ingrid Pitt neither.
she's a little bit headless by the end of that movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
You could lose your head over her, you could say.
Big neck on that one.
But Gloria Holden as Countess Zaleska, like I've heard stuff about her saying she didn't even want to do the role, which really adds this layer of like reluctant vampire to the movie.
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the protagonists more than David Manners as Jonathan Harker in the original Dracula. Because like they've got that banter going that's really fun, and I really enjoy the comic relief. It's also the only sequel, even including Bride of Frankenstein, out of all the Universal movies that picks up right where the first movie left off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like I love that you get to see Van Helsing have to go on trial for murder because they found him like, oh god, this guy's got a stake through his heart. This guy's a murderer, because like that never happens in any other movies. And then he just kind of gets weaseled out of it by the end, I guess. They kind of drop that plot at some point.
Yeah.
Save
I have
someone
one
else's
problem
life.
with that with Daughter. Then yeah, that would be it. They would kind of ignore that, kind of forget that was a thing going on.
Yeah, and there are some other just kind of vagaries about the plot. I also love Sandor, who's just the eternally bleak assistant, who's just like always raining on Countess Zaleska's parade.
Yeah, he is.
He's great. I love him. And then I love the scene with Lily because I've basically made her into this whole other person because I wrote an entire story about her. But there's something about that scene that just isn't in any of the other Universal movies. That's partially like the closest thing they have to an explicit queer representation in that entire thing. But like also just seeing the vampire fight an internal battle is something you don't have in any of those other movies.
Yeah.
Now, Vampire Lovers, on the other hand, is a movie where Ingrid Pitt and Roy Ward Baker, the director, have said, lesbians? There's no lesbians in this movie. This is, we didn't.
What lesbians? Weeping giant piles of lesbians on drugs.
And it's like, I don't think they, yeah, I think, yeah.
No.
What movies did you guys think you were making? And I have a few gripes with that as well. Like, it is more exploitative, even though I feel like the nudity feels like more intimate and not there for a male gaze, even though it was totally put there for that. It doesn't feel that way for me. Also, they told Madeline Smith that her nude scenes would only be in the Japanese cut of the film. What the fuck, people? That's the only way they got her to do the nude scenes.
I've never heard that story. Holy shit. What assholes.
Yeah. And then, like, Countess Zaleska is a reluctant vampire, and Carmilla Mircalla is playing this, like, con game with them and is, like, actively doing all this hunting, but I think she's even more tragic than Countess Zaleska, because, like, Ingrid Pitt went through some shit in her life, so she knows how to portray tragedy really well. And, like, Carmilla's the only vampire in any of the Hammer movies where you put a cross on her face and she looks like she's about to cry instead of just hissing at it.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then, like, just like in the novel, their story just kind of gets dropped to be like, okay, a bunch of, like, old men are going to cut her head off now. But, like, the actual, like, whole scene where you've got Carmilla being like, I love you, and Laura being like, oh, so, but, like, I know I'm your best friend, but aren't you going to marry some man someday? And she's like, no, I love you. And she's like, it's not the same thing. And, like, Carmilla's over here, like, crying, and Laura's just, I keep calling her Laura. Her name's Emma. It's another stupid name change. Because, like, the character before, who was named, like, Elizabeth or something in the book, is the one who's named Laura in this. Why are these movies like this? They keep doing the name switch thing.
Because it's funny.
It is funny. So like these are my two favorite movies from these two studios. And it hurt me to say this, but Vampire Lovers wins for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God! No, both a point to
He feels the
Universal,
tides
both
are
point to
turning.
Hammer, and Fiend has finally broken his Universal streak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Dear.
I'm Team Carmilla over here. I feel like
Shocking.
yeah. Also,
Point.
I'm going to turn
Hammer.
these glaring lights on for a second, but have you seen the
That's-
new collector's edition of Vampire Lovers, Sean?
Love
Oh,
the cover, yeah.
Ooh, that's
very
tempting.
nice.
Mhm.
It is very
That is
nice. It's got a
tempting.
nice new slipcover, and it has more special features. There's
Wow.
a documentary on different film incarnations of Carmilla, narrated by Madeline Smith.
Have to get that.
I'd have to get that shit.
Mhm.
That's nice.
A little too sexy.
Back maybe 4 years.
At 4 years old, I would think so, yeah.
I would think so too.
But it's like most of the nudity in that movie is circumstantial. Like there's the one silhouetted scene where like Ingrid Pitt's seducing somebody,
Mhm.
but the other times it's just like they sneak it in because like, they have to pull aside her nightgown to like check her heart or something because the doctor's doing something, or like
Yeah.
they've just been in the bath. It's not like other movies of this era even where it's just like 1970 something vampires, which is like borderline porn.
Yep.
Yay.
Mhm.
Which
Porn!
also is a
And then
movie
there's
with
the
borderline
Jesus
porn.
Franco movies.
I love those
Oh
movies.
God.
I fucking love those movies.
Oh, Jesus Franco.
Oh.
Oh boy.
I did just pick up a copy of Vampiros Lesbos, which I will be watching eventually.
Nice.
Have you never seen it?
That's a
It's
movie.
I haven't seen
It's
it
an
yet.
actual good movie, you know.
I like.
I mean,
like that
out of
movie.
all Jess Franco's movies, that's
Yeah.
his most artistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
hearing
probably.
positive things.
Yeah, it's probably his most tasteful.
Right, you know, I mean,
That
when you
man
compare it to some of the other
loved his
stuff.
smut. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did watch Jess Franco's Dracula with Lee and Klaus Kinski. That movie's boring.
yeah,
Mhm.
You've got Klaus Kinski as Renfield, and you won't even bother to give him dialogue. What is
Yeah,
Yeah. yeah. That's always like one of my least favorite Franco movies.
this?
Well, what about you? Where do you fall on this lesbianic voyage?
Where do you think I fall on this?
There's no wrong answers here.
Yeah, there's no. This is one where there is no wrong answer.
Well, yeah, you know.
I know,
It's-
but they don't know. What is answer it?
Lesbians! Lesbians!
That doesn't clarify.
Piles of lesbians, but there's more lesbians.
Vampire lovers.
Yes, there is more lesbians in Vampire Lovers, and I love that it is for the male gaze. It is totally for the male gaze, and I'm here for it. Yes, baby, yes.
Like Fiend said, it is definitely put there, but it's not as like gratuitous. It never feels super gratuitous, really.
I
Yeah.
kind of think there's a few scenes where it is. I just like this one. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's fucking fun, and the other one's fine, but I'm sorry. I'm being honest. I thought we were supposed to be honest on here. It's fine. Well,
Why is that? What? How am I on a stream where two people said they don't like Dracula's daughter?
I didn't say that. I said
Monty
it was
is the only one
fine.
who said he outright doesn't like it, and I still don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
But like I said,
Killing
I
me.
only saw it like a couple of times, and it's been a while since I last saw Dracula's daughter. And when I first saw it, I was like maybe around 10, maybe
Okay.
9 or 10 years
I
old.
should
and
do a Dracula's Daughter watch stream and have you
Do
on.
for a
so we can-
rewatch,
yeah.
man.
Okay.
That I am here for that. I am down for this.
Me too.
But it's fine. It like I'm sure you're gonna go with it too. Are you?
Talk more about your movie and explain as to why, besides lesbians.
Pretty much lesbians.
Okay, fair enough.
It's lesbians.
You're a woman who knows exactly what she wants out of a movie.
I'm just different because when I was a kid, I was like, but because it was an older movie, and I thought, don't they have like rules and regulations? And so I find the backstory of this very fascinating. How they did anyone actually even at the time buy it? Because they were saying no lesbians here, and even as a little kid, I'm like, those are clearly they totally want to bang. They want to do the finger.
No, they are
Like
just
literally
very-
in the Vampire Lovers, like that first ball scene with Laura, she's like, waltzing there, and like
Yeah.
Carmilla's like looking at her, and
Mm.
she's
The
like,
guys-
Yeah, I mean
yeah, the
that
guys
look,
like-
exactly that
Oh,
look. I mean,
Look
we
how
all
that
know
look
what
how that
looks
girl's looking
about.
at you. It's like, no, he's looking at you.
exactly.
I mean,
like the guy,
you're
like the
looking
guy
like
she's
that.
with knows, and the makers of the movie still have no idea what they made.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so point for Hammer on your end.
Point for Hammer. Yeah, I'm going with Hammer, baby.
Okay, so I didn't think I would be in this position, but I think I'm going to be the only one who's going to be voting for good old Dracula's daughter.
Why?
Because it
Someone
is,
should.
yeah, it is not. It's not quite Bride of Frankenstein, but it's up there. It's up there with Wolfman.
Really?
It's up there with Wolfman as being one of my favorite Universal
I
films.
agree.
I really love the Dracula's daughter as everything. Well, it kind of very much similar to Wolfman and Talbot. Like, there's a very big humanity and tragedy to her. As unlike the other Universal vampires, there's a big tragedy to her. You know, she just like she didn't ask for any of this. It just happened, and this is just who she is now. She has to.
See, I think I like my vampire women more like, like
Boss bitch, I'm gonna tear your head off. I'm a vampire, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it works for men, but for some reason with women, I kind of like that the more aggressive. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck you, and then I'm gonna eat you.
That's
So
fair.
like sensitive
like that
male
energy.
vampires and like badass female vampires, kind of going against the gender stereotypes both ways.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, no, definitely.
I kind of maybe that's why it doesn't work because it's weird. I love Wolfman because he's so tragic, and yet this is one of my complaints.
I can understand that. But I love how tragic of a figure Zaleska is. I think the performances are all really damn good. I like the fact that we are again acknowledge the fact that the previous movie. Well, we ignore Son, but who cares about Son of Dracula? Let's be honest here. Like we pretend that movie just like whatever. But we follow up on the previous film. We have Van Helsing back again, and even if it doesn't lead to anything, we at least acknowledge the fact that like he did murder a dude as far as like the courts are viewed. You know, I like all of that. I really like our assistant in this. It's probably my favorite like assistant Igor / helper character out of any of the Universal films. I love how much of a bummer he is.
Yeah.
Just wants to constantly shit on everyone and make everyone's day
He's a
worse. And I
Debbie
am here
Downer.
for it.
He is an emo.
Yeah, I am here for it. I love the hell out of the movie. I think it has a great atmosphere. I think everything about it works. I love the queer codedness of it. Like Vampire Lovers is just boom, here it is. We may say it's not here. It's here. Here it is for you. This one is
But they're trying to cloak and dagger it,
yeah,
sort of.
This one is a lot more like subtle and very much of the time, like kind of hiding it a bit better, not really, but a bit better. And it's interesting to see them play around with that while still getting away with a lot more than you would really expect for a film from that era.
Well, did anyone actually believe it or not? Like when they said this isn't art, this isn't.
Well, I mean, at the time, it depends. Like it's a movie I very much have a lot of fondness for, and it might be nostalgia because it wasn't one of those movies that I felt like only I ever knew about until I got onto the internet, and then I was like, oh, there are other people who know about this movie. That's fucking radical. But I'm gonna give point Universal on Dracula's Daughter.
Good.
Okay.
There are
Sean.
no wrong answers again.
Yes, no wrong answer here. Vampire Lovers, fantastic film as well. One of my favorite Hammer films, also in my top 5.
I do appreciate, Jim, that your rationale for giving Vampire Lovers the point was more lesbians.
More lesbians.
Yeah.
You can't have enough lesbians.
Yeah.
No.
Pro lesbians.
Also, small plug for Lily, my Dracula's Daughter fanfic, which does also feature most of the characters from Carmilla and a bunch of characters from the other Universal Dracula. It's just like all the vampire women decide to like glom together and do shit.
Highly recommend checking it out.
Sounds
It's a very
interesting.
good read. It's a very good listen.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I feel a lot like Anthro Fiend on that one. I really love both of them. You know.
Yeah.
I like Martin said, the tragedy of Countess Maria Zaleska, the reluctant vampire. You know, it's a great story. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, and you feel sad for her when she thinks, killing Dracula or disposing of his body is gonna get rid of the curse, and she starts, getting a little happy, start playing the piano, and then Sandor's got a ring in on the parade.
Mhm.
He's like Eeyore.
Yeah,
You're right. You're
He
so
is
right. He's
totally
literally
Eeyore.
he's
he
like a
is.
slightly angrier Eeyore.
Yeah, he's super like not even passive aggressive. He's just mildly aggro Eeyore. It's amazing. I never thought of that. Holy shit.
I thought it was cool that Edward Van Sloan came back and that they
Mhm.
continued right
Yeah.
from the last movie. That was cool.
Okay, another like one minor knock against Dracula's daughter. Why is it Von Helsing now all of
Yeah.
a sudden?
No, yeah,
I
they
love
changed
that.
the van
No
to
reason,
Bond.
like the name change.
Goddamn name changes.
I just like to think that everyone was mispronouncing his name during the entire original movie, including himself.
No, I did actually sneak a joke into Lily where Zaleska says Vaughn at one point and someone corrects her.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's I love that scene with Lily. That's great. And she's like, "Why are you looking at me that way? Won't I do?"
Mm-hmm. Yes, he'll do very well. Do you like jewels, Lily?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's a very rare stone.
Very old and very beautiful.
Hmm.
Great performance,
Yeah.
Gloria. But I am gonna have to go Vampire Lovers. Sorry. I
So
love
you're
this
the only
movie.
one?
I'm
And
very
nobody
glad I
mentioned
voted
what
against
great
him.
atmosphere this movie has.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's one scene where you
bless you.
see Carmilla going off to the castle. Man, you see the fog and the lighting. It's beautiful. Man. And another brilliant score. And
Mhm.
there's something about Ingrid Pitt. I just think she's like the incarnation of Dracula as a woman, like 100%.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm.
He's
She's
the
got
vampire
that
queen.
kind of deep voice, that accent, the same like the mannerisms. She's so charming and charismatic. She just commands the screen.
Yeah, like her voice is amazing. Why the fuck did they dub it over in Countess
I know.
Dracula?
I know, right? But yeah, another great performance, but an excellent supporting cast as well. Peter Cushing
Mhm.
as General Spearsdorf there. I
Mhm.
like how he's kind of not so much the hero of this movie, kind of leave that up to the Baron Hartog and they send him
Yeah.
in to take care of the monster, you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't call them the heroes either, but I'm siding with the
Yeah.
lesbian vampires over here, so you know.
Same. Always team lesbian vampires.
The slap. And one of the things I love about Carmilla is she does fall in love with Emma. I think there's a real
Mhm.
love
Mhm.
Yeah.
there, and she wants to take her away with her to the castle and be her companion.
Yeah.
But anybody else is just a useless piece of crap to her. Kill him off immediately or nothing. So there is that evil side to her.
Yeah.
too, you know?
And that's my favorite thing about that and like my other favorite version of Carmilla, which is the web series that was made. Like in both of those, like she's part of this elaborate con game that's like the Gentleman in Black seems to be like the ringleader and the vampire
Yeah.
lovers. In the web series, it's actually her mother who's doing it, who's Dawn Adams in Vampire Lovers. But she's like being put through this con game, like doing the exact same thing, like seducing the daughter of a different family and then like claiming her for this big coven of vampires, basically. But when she reaches like Emma, or in the other version, Laura, she's like, I don't want to do this shit anymore.
Right.
I actually like this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
I like how, like with Kate O'Mara's character, the Mademoiselle Peridot or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, take me with you.
Yeah. It's
And then
it's
she
like,
just,
it's
it's such
like
a great scene. She just what? Let me take care of business here. And then she just walks up to
Yeah.
the
No,
stairs.
it's literally like it's the gender swapped version of that scene from 1931 Dracula with Renfield being like, "Take me with you," and
Right.
Lugosi throwing him down the stairs.
Right. Great stuff.
I also love how Ingrid Pitt will just like. It's clear that she's in love with Emma and is clearly putting a lot of effort into seducing Madame Peridot. With the one guy she actually does anything with in the movie, it's clear that she doesn't give a shit about
Nope.
No, not at all.
Point Hammer.
Also, very quickly, I would like to take this opportunity to show 2 posters I got at Monster Bash
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
and an art print that I got from an artist there.
Ooh.
Ah,
Very, very nice.
that is gorgeous.
Good one, good.
And before I finally shut up about my favorite lesbian vampires, they were selling signed prints from the Vampire Lovers by Ingrid Pitt and Madeline Smith there, and I wanted one so goddamn bad. But it was $120 cash.
Shut up and take my money. I would like all of your.
That's the problem when you
I'll
go
take
to
your
these
entire
conventions,
stock.
you're like,
I-
damn it, I want that.
Yeah, I wanted it so bad, but I just literally didn't have the money on me.
Do I get a discount if I buy in bulk?
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, it's been so long since I've seen Dracula's Daughter.
hmm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah,
good movie.
I'll have to organize a watch stream because
Mm-hmm.
that's one of my favorites to expose people to.
Hell yeah.
That
I
would
love
be
that
fun.
movie. I'd be down.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right.
Lesbians.
Lesbians. You can never have enough lesbians.
That's
No.
true.
It's a fact of life.
That's
Also-
very true.
Yeah, most viewed video on my channel is still my watch stream I did for the Vampire Lovers. It has like 700 views or something.
That's good.
It's probably because I put Ingrid Pitt and Madeline Smith in the thumbnail and they keep clicking on it thinking it's something else.
Ooh.
Because like
Yeah.
I looked on like YouTube Studio and like what some of the common search terms bringing up my stuff is, and one of them is just vampire sex film.
Yeah.
That's pretty apt.
Yeah, one of our most popular videos is our review of Bad Biology, and the thumbnail to that is a very, she's clothed, but not very clothed woman rolling on a bed.
Yeah.
I think I know why that one did so well.
Actually, the video live stream I did with Gory about witches and witchcraft that did very well.
I
That
was-
was a
really
great
good
stream.
I really
I-
liked listening to that one. That was
I'm
actually
sad I
really
missed that
interesting.
because I was actually at Monster Bash while that happened, but I do have it saved. I'm going to be watching that because that sounds like an amazing conversation.
Yeah, it was,
It
a
was.
really good
Yeah,
discussion.
it was.
actually.
It was
really
you know learn some interesting stuff about witchcraft witches because it was something I wanted to do with Gory for a while.
Yeah.
While just like when I did a live stream of her and Night and I when we did a live stream about blacks and horror films, and that was very
I've got that saved too. I'm sure that's amazing.
interesting.
That
was
is- that
it
was
a
good.
too. Yeah.
Good night, Jason.
Night, Jason.
Night,
Good
Jason.
Thanks for
Jason.
coming by. Yeah, that was a really great stream. It was nice listening.
Yeah, it was really
Mhm.
good to hear.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about witchcraft myself.
Yeah.
Sure you don't.
None at all.
No.
Sure you do.
I don't.
How many movies about witchcraft did these like classic studios actually make? Because we'll get into the occult at some point, but how many witch movies did these studios make, if any?
Oh, boy.
I can think of a bunch of occult movies, but I'm trying to think of a specific which one.
Yeah,
It was mainly occults,
Yeah.
not actual witches.
yeah, we'll get into the occult in a minute. I'm excited for that, but
Yes. Yeah, it's mostly occult films I can think of. I can't think of any witch movies.
yeah. Sean, we
Weird.
were just talking about trying to remember if like Universal or Hammer ever did a witch movie, and we don't think they did.
I don't think so.
I can't think of any. Interesting.
All right, what's next, Sean?
What's next on the block?
Yeah, curious about this one. Phantom of the Opera of 1925,
Ooh.
starring Lon Chaney Sr. versus Phantom of the Opera 1962 from Hammer. Of course, the original is silent,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the original
Yep.
was silent one.
universal.
It talks.
No, it doesn't talk.
No, the other one.
The other one talks.
That's
Yes.
what I
The one
meant.
talks.
Well, Miss It Talks, which one are you going with?
The one that talks. I don't like no words in my movies. That's a deep cut only me and Christian will understand.
Oh, in jokes.
No. I love Phantom of the Opera because it's such a
Which one?
both.
Okay.
I like both. Actually, this is actually kind of hard for me.
Yeah.
But
Too.
I don't know. Which one would you go with?
I'm not saying. I'm not spoiling my answer. You got to come to your own conclusion here, sweetie.
I don't know. See, I like both of them for different reasons. I don't know. Come back to someone else so I can steal someone's answer. I don't fucking know. This is like Sophie's Choice. The movie edition. Only harder because, it's a movie. I mean, it's just your kids in that one movie. It's movies here.
Yes, movies. Much harder.
You can make more children.
I mean, I'd rather have kids.
You
than
can also
movies
make
than
movies.
kids.
Get
I'll
the
take
video camera.
movies over kids any
I
day.
don't know. Like, I love them both. Like, can I pick both?
No, you have to choose
You
one.
know.
I don't know. Come back to me then. I'll
All
think
Hey,
on
if both
this.
was an option, that would have been what I picked last time.
I would have picked both a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, but this one for really, like, I love both for different reasons. You go to you.
I like both.
Before we
a
do
lot
that,
as well.
let me just say to Hannistown, the correct answer is Halloween 2.
No, the correct answer is Halloween 3.
Oh, fuck off.
Yes.
Save it for October, boys. Save it for
All right,
October.
I'm not supposed to talk about it. Anyway.
Also, Christian, you just got the Silver Shamrock jingle stuck in my head again, so thanks.
It's not even fucking.
Shut your mouth. It's Halloween in our hearts.
You don't have one of those.
The space where my heart once was. Anyway, going for Phantom of the Operas. Both are very good. I actually think the Hammer one is incredibly underappreciated. I think it's quite cool. I especially really love the ending of the movie. But
I knew there was a but.
But Phantom of the Opera is one of. I'm actually a big fan of silent films. I love old silent films. I think they have a very distinct vibe that no other movies can ever really capture. Even movies kind of homaging them.
Yeah.
So I kind of automatically got to give this to the Chaney version. Just it's such a mesmerizing movie.
Yeah.
The depending on which score, but the score that I listen to most frequently, that it works so well with the movie. There's the visuals are so breathtaking and iconic. Like one of the most iconic scenes, like right off the bat, like beginning of horror movies. Right off the bat, you got one of the most iconic scenes ever with the reveal of the Phantom's face, which is that such iconic makeup job that Chaney did. Like it just
he did it himself
so well. There's some elements I do prefer in the Hammer one. I think the ending in the Hammer one's really damn cool. I love how he kind of like plays a gag on the people trying to kill him. I like that stuff there. But overall, I gotta give it to Chaney just for being such a visually striking and mesmerizing movie.
Yeah, go put me down too.
So that's 2 points, Universal.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the silent just a smidge better, even though I don't like words in my movies.
Yeah, I hate to read my movies.
In joke, guys. I don't have a problem with subtitles. I don't want anyone thinking, oh, Jen just I'm just kidding.
Be right back.
I can read, damn it. I can read.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is a tough one because I like both versions.
I do too.
I like Hammer just as well as Universal, but mainly is because of Lon Chaney's versatile acting and how he created his own makeup. You really have to go with Universal on this one.
Anthro?
All right, so Phantom of the Opera is another, like, besides, like, vampires has been another obsession of mine for a really long time.
Mm.
And like, if you put the Claude Rains version and like the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, and even like there was like a mini series version of this that came out a while back that's really damn good.
Huh.
God damn it. I'm gonna look up who plays the Phantom in that version in a second. Charles Dance. Charles
Ooh.
Dance as the Phantom is
Okay.
amazing. If you put those in the running, this would be way harder for me. Hammer Phantom doesn't do a lot for me, to be honest. It's a
Okay.
good movie, but it doesn't do a lot for me. 1925 Phantom of the Opera was the second horror film I ever saw.
Okay.
Because my dad and I were like, we're gonna watch all of like the black and white classics, and I was like, we should start at the very beginning. And I like pulled up the John Barrymore Jekyll and Hyde on Netflix, and he was like, "Are you sure? This movie's silent." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay." And I ended up loving it. So
Hell yeah. That is
um,
the most wholesome thing I've ever heard.
but yeah, like I was just mesmerized by like this very different like style, and like between Phantom of the Opera and Nosferatu, like the shadow play in those movies with like just the shadow of the Phantom on the wall, I'm obsessed with. Like the one color scene in the movie, The Masquerade, I think is a great use of color.
Yeah.
And then just the very brief cuts to like the Phantom with his like red cloak, like listening in on Raoul and Christine. I will say their romance is a little bit bland in that one. Also, the Phantom was originally supposed to have a sympathetic ending, but then they were like, no, he should be punished. So we get another angry mob scene. And they're actually running in front of the same Notre Dame cathedral they used in Lon Chaney's Hunchback in that scene, I think. And he does the little pantomime where he pretends to have a bomb. It's so fun. And then he can't resist, like, because he's like, I pranked you so good. I got to show you there's actually nothing in my hand. And it's like, why? They literally hack him into pieces. Why would you do that? But he's super sympathetic. His face is amazing makeup, and he's terrifying. Like when he's holding Christine hostage, he's absolutely terrifying. And I don't think any other version of Phantom has gone into as much detail with all the crazy traps he sets up for people who try to come down into his lair, which is one of my favorite things about that movie. So, yeah, 1925 Phantom for me.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
Points Universal.
Tristan's contest, so.
Nice.
Very cool. Sean?
I'm gonna have to give it to Universal.
You say that so begrudgingly.
I know.
I can't take anything away from Lon Chaney. I mean, you gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
Like Fiend said, he is like scary. You know, great performance, and the fact that he did his own makeup, I really appreciate that. And it's such a great makeup job.
Apparently it hurt like hell too.
Yeah,
I believe it.
But it's for the craft.
I do think the Hammer one is pretty underrated. You never hear anybody talk about it. I think it's pretty solid.
No, but that's why I had such kind of a crisis of conscience, because the one is iconic, the silent one is so iconic, but Hammer's pretty damn good too. It maybe doesn't have quite the magic of the original, but what the fuck would?
Phantom of the Paradise.
Ooh, you're so
Isn't
right.
there also a lot that it like closed out? Lindsay Ellis did a video on it about there was another Phantom.
Oh, there's a tons of Phantoms.
There was one that was so bad that closed out.
Phantom of the Mall?
No, what was it?
There's a ton of Phantom
There
movies.
was something, and it was so bad. Lindsay Ellis did a video on it, and it closed, and they said it was awful.
Nice.
Oh, there was another musical of Phantom.
Nice.
That I tried to find stuff about so bad and can barely get anything on.
It was bad, apparently.
Yep. There's also a cartoon version of Phantom that's actually the most book accurate version I've ever seen in my entire life.
I didn't know that existed.
What?
Yeah, you got to look it up. It's like cartoon Lon Chaney Phantom, but like all the dialogue's verbatim from the book.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna have to send the link to like Jen so you can see this.
That's
later.
amazing.
I will, because I didn't know about this.
That sounds awesome.
I,
Oh,
think-
yeah.
I don't know if I might have. I know I heard that there was an animated movie about this one, but I don't know if I saw it or not.
Yep, it's straight up is the book, except the final scene when Christine and Rel escape. Like literally the Phantom's lair starts crumbling because his organ playing is too hardcore.
Nice. I'm here for this.
Very cool.
So point to Universal, Sean. Monty?
Mine was Universal.
Okay, point to Universal. So Sweep by Phantom.
Whee!
Also, can I just say, how ironic is it that like the best version of Phantom, in my opinion, is the one that doesn't have sound? It's literally a story about music.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so great.
All right, what's next, Sean?
All right, we have the
Creature
monster movies. Creature from the Black Lagoon versus the Gorgon from Hammer. 1964.
Interesting pairing.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I
it's
thought
interesting
that
pairing.
too.
Yeah. Not one you would think of, but a good pairing nonetheless.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought that.
It's a tough
I'm
one,
not
isn't
going
it?
first because my answer is such a basic bitch answer.
Okay.
I'm a basic bitch horror fan. I'm a basic bitch horror fan. God damn it.
Go ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
Okay,
I
okay,
feel
I'm gonna
basic
say it.
when it
I'm
comes
gonna.
to
I
universal
gotta
family.
go with Creature. I gotta go with it. I fucking love it. Is he a rapist?
He's a little rapey, yes.
That's probably why I like it, because
He's
you know
not a
me
human
and the rape
person.
films.
He doesn't know the social cues.
No,
I
it
guess
doesn't.
that's true.
I mean, like when whatchamajoo did
He's
it
not
with you know,
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water, it
Yeah.
was romantic and beautiful and
Mhm.
heartfelt. But this is a little rapey. But I'm
This
here
guy's just
for
a
it. Like,
monster.
yeah, it is. I also just love the design. Like
Yeah,
that
the
is
design.
such a cool design.
It is.
And there's something about the aesthetic. The hammer's fine.
Yeah,
The Gorgon's good. I like the Gorgon.
Yeah,
It's
it's good.
alright, but honestly, like I forget about it. If I'm gonna be honest, it's
Fair.
not one I'm super like. I've seen it maybe once.
Forget
or
about
twice,
it.
and I'm sorry,
Well, we know where Sean's
Come
coming from.
on.
but I mean, this is
All right,
super. Is it just me, or is this not super iconic?
No, it is. Like
Very.
I find
It is.
all the swimming scenes super mesmerizing and very almost dreamlike. to
Very
me.
much.
All the swimming scenes are super cool to look at.
And it's a very simplistic story,
Yeah,
but
it
it
is.
works so
it's
well.
basically just white people where they aren't supposed to be going where they don't belong.
And she's hot.
Interfering and getting attacked by a monster.
And she's
Basic-
hot.
It is. Yeah. I
She's
guess,
hot. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's hot. So that's another reason point. Because when I was a little girl, I was like, she sure is pretty. I wish I looked like her. So, I wish some, mutant monster thing would come and try to, take me.
And now you're with
Fuck
Marty. And now you
I
found
knew
it with
that.
Marty.
Fuck you. I knew that was coming. No, I don't know. There's something about this is a really fun movie for
It
me.
is.
This is it's not like how I love Wolfman or anything, but this is just if you say what's a fun, just a good
It's a
time
good one
one.
to just throw on and just have a chill time with.
Yeah, so I gotta give it to Universal.
Point Universal.
I know I'm a basic bitch. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm a basic bitch. I fooled you all this time, making you think I was a deep person, but no, I'm a basic bitch.
You were supposed to think you were deep.
That's my headcanon.
Okay. Quick one for me. I like the Gorgon. It's solid, but sorry, Sean, it's not a personal favorite of mine either. I think it's fun, but never been a big favorite of mine. I love Creature from Black Lagoon. It's very fun. I really enjoy it. Like I was saying earlier, I think all the swimming scenes are very mesmerizing and hypnotic. They look really damn cool. The design's very good. The story's very simplistic, but works for what it is. It's a really solid, kind of generic monster movie from Universal.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it's like the perfection, and I don't say generic is like a a bad thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I know what you mean.
For the time, like,
It's a popcorn
there were
film.
hundreds of movies coming out in the mid to late 50s that were basically this exact same movie. But this one stands out, and you can see why people remember it still to this day. It has a distinct feel all of its own.
Yeah.
Definitely for me, point goes Universal Creature.
Sean's thinking, well, she raised him. Of course he's going to give the wrong answer.
How about you, Monty?
Yeah, I'm had to go with Creature from the Black Lagoon. Nothing against the Gorgon because it was a pretty good film. It was okay. It was all right. Not one of the best Hammer films, but it was okay. But you can't top the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Points Universal.
Sean's thinking they're all fired.
Fiend, possibly, depending on the answer you give, might land you a new spot as one of the new hosts in Horror Hangouts, as I feel like 2 spaces are going to be opening up soon.
Okay, so I almost gave this one to the Gorgon. Almost. Because, like, the Gorgon is very much more my vibe. It's one of those really unique Hammer movies where it has Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, and neither one is the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's what made it unique for me.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I think it's the only Hammer movie of their like gothic horror that uses Greek mythology in any way, which I
it
think
does.
is
Yeah.
fascinating. And like has a monster that isn't aware of her being a monster,
Yeah.
which I think is really interesting. But like Creature from the Black Lagoon, like I was in love with all of the Universal movies already. Creature was the first one that actually had me on the edge of my seat a little bit scared.
Mm.
Like, it was the one that scared me.
I get that.
And like Hannah's Town Bill Bowers in the chat saying there were 3 Creature movies. I think the sequels are really good too. Creature
Yeah,
Walks
they're
Among
fun.
Us is
Yeah.
actually my favorite.
I know. Yeah. I even like that better than the Black Lagoon.
Yeah,
No saying.
I think Creature Walks Among Us is amazing. Because it's like tragic redemption arc for the creature a little bit.
Which is weird, but it kind of works.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's like he saves someone and it's this very human thing, but he doesn't want to be human. He wants to go back into the water, but he can't now, so he does anyway and he drowns.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like Creature is its own kind of great tragedy, and there's all of this like interesting like debate over science but also wanting proof for stuff. I did recently rewatch it with commentary, and it was actually like a blatant ripoff of King Kong when they were making it. So,
Mhm.
and then the second movie is even more just a continuation of that ripoff of King Kong.
Yep.
But it's a good one, and one that I actually like a little bit more than the original King Kong. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
spicy, spicy, spicy.
I love Willis O'Brien's stop motion, but like there's something about Creature that like gets into so many other little things that I think are cool. Like the scientific stuff is very interesting in that one.
I can understand that. Yeah.
And can we just talk about Shape of Water?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's
Adore
a very
Shape of
great
Water.
movie. Love Shape of Water.
Yeah, that is that would have had me almost crying because I thought it was so beautiful. I was like, oh god, this is such a beautiful story. I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like literally Guillermo del Toro watched Creature as a kid, and I was like, I just want them to like marry and kiss instead.
Give me happy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I picture with. I want a happy ending,
Yeah.
and like that was where I was on the edge of my seat because the part where you think
Yeah,
it's
the
not
end.
gonna go awry,
Yeah.
and I'm like I find myself being like a little kid, like, oh no, they can't, and then I'm so happy when they get yay.
Yeah,
I was
but
just like a little kid.
But then, like, I shit you not, Guillermo del Toro was like drawing pictures as a kid of like the two of them taking tandem bike rides and eating ice cream together. Like, he's come out and said this. Like, no
Yeah.
shit.
That does not knowing Guillermo del Toro as a person, that does not remotely surprise
Yeah.
me.
God bless him, man. He helped give us Tigers Are Not Afraid as well.
Oh, del Toro. Gotta love him. So, point Universal and Sean, lone defender of the Gorgon. What say
That's
you?
right,
I was
baby.
almost with you.
Lone
John.
defender. Going the Gorgon. I love that.
On the Gorgon.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely love it.
I,
It's
I
good.
think
Can't
It's
go
good.
wrong with Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee together. Even though, yeah, they're not really the main characters, but I'm also fascinated by the Greek mythology there.
Mhm.
And the idea of this creature that could turn you to stone if you look in her eye.
Hmm.
And I like the way they handle it. Obviously, if you're gonna compare the makeup jobs, the creature smokes it. But I like how they kind of keep the Gorgon in the background and kind of mysterious until like the end. You kind of just see her reflection in the mirror and against the water. That's a really cool scene.
I will say about the makeup, like I love the movie, but I did watch an interview with Ray Harryhausen where he very specifically makes fun of the makeup in the Gorgon compared to like his Gorgon in
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans.
Fair enough.
Oh, I saw
Fair
it because Jake is such a big Ray
He's Ray
Harryhausen.
Harryhausen. He has every right to.
Of course, yeah. But I saw that interview. He was cracking me up when he was making fun of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Harryhausen, you were such a catty bitch.
He's got it to back it up. He's like Don Henley. You might not like him and some of the stuff he says, but he's got the stuff to back it up.
Yep.
But Gorgon once again has a great classic gothic atmosphere. Love it. And all the scenes in the woods and the amazing cast once again, great acting. I love it. Barbara Shelley, great performance.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love it. Another awesome score.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, going the
Fair
Gorgon.
enough. Point.
Creature of
Hammer.
Black Lagoon has never been one of my favorites of the Universal, honestly.
I was almost on your side with this one, Sean. Creature hasn't ever really been one of my favorites either. It's not really of the gothic horror ilk that I prefer,
Right.
but it's just such a strong movie.
Yeah.
And rape.
Oh boy.
I guess. Yeah. Sure.
Man.
Del Toro fixed it though.
Yeah. No.
Del Toro's movie is what happens when they talk it out, like they were gonna
Yeah.
if they didn't kill the creature or shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next, Sean?
This is an interesting one. The Black Cat. Starring Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff versus The Devil Rides Out.
Ave Satanis.
Oh, I wonder where you're gonna land on this.
Come here. I need you. Okay, I need you to just sit right here. Just
Oh,
stand
he's
right
got the
there.
black
Don't
cat.
stop.
I let my black cat out of the room, god damn it.
See, Black Cat didn't want to be.
You had one job, you lazy bastard.
Well,
You
the
might
reason
get
I
in your
picked this,
lap.
of course, is there's cult stuff involved in both movies and those. It's the only Universal one I can really think of that's like overtly like that.
Yeah, I know. That's the only one it was.
Yeah, I can't think of any others.
I can't think of
can't
any
either.
other.
All right, here's my copy of Freaky Monsters magazine. Here's the back.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Black Cat Fever. Dun dun dun.
Don't ruin your black cat with the addition of
Bringing
fucking...
Janet Jackson into this.
Or
Oh, okay.
I've done that since I was a kid, by the way.
Of course you have.
why?
Because
Living
I'm a
on the
horrible
edge,
person.
not afraid
Yes,
to
you
die.
are.
It works, damn
I
it.
guess.
Black Cat Fever. Dun dun dun. Yeah.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Your grandmother hit me every time I did it.
Fair enough.
So I'm actually interested. Where are you?
I am a fan of both of these movies.
I figure.
But I gotta be the most stereotypical me I can be, so I gotta give one for my satanic cinema. I love my satanic cinema. So Devil Rides Out is, I think, a really underappreciated Hammer film. I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but give it the credit it does. Christopher Lee, really good performance. A bit different since he's basically the protagonist of the story, a bit different performance from him.
Mhm.
I just think it's a really solid movie that actually does, and even the author said so, it fixes a lot of the problems the book had, because in the book it's basically like it's way more like, oh, this cult is going to end the world if we don't just stop them right now. Whereas in the movie it's just, oh, our friend like joined a satanic cult. We should like, or maybe he's got kidnapped by them. I don't know. We should go like check out and see what's going on there. It gives a lot more personality and kind of humanity to the film, and makes this. It both lowers the stakes while also raises the character intrigue and all that. So I like Black Cat. Black Cat's great. You get to see Karloff and Lugosi at war with each other. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It is wonderful. I'm totally expecting to be alone here, but I'm gonna honestly give it to Devil Rides Out. Point Hammer.
I will also say that that's the one where Christopher Lee actually brought the book to Hammer, and they were like, make this movie. And they were like, you're Christopher Lee. Okay.
It's what you do. Like, it's just one of those things you do. If Christopher Lee comes up and tells you to do something, you just
Okay, Mr. Lee.
Damn well better do it.
Yeah.
It also has the criminologist from Rocky Horror as a satanic cult leader.
It does, which is just wonderful.
But I need you, Cat. Come back.
Come back, Kitty. No.
So like it's probably because you guys know I'm a basic bitch. So I'm gonna give it to Black Cat Fever. Dun dun dun. Because like you said, they're battling it out. They're fucking having a war. They're catty men having about a black being catty, as you could say.
Yes.
You know, I fucking
Very
love
catty.
it. Like the satanic stuff, it's cool and all, but honestly, it's another one. I saw it once, one or done, and I'm done. I'm sorry.
Okay,
like I
fair
get
enough.
not
fair
like no
enough.
hate.
You don't have the love for satanic cinema that I do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It has its place and stuff, but like these are two icons battling, being catty, literally.
It is, yeah.
And trying to one up each other. And there's just as a thespian, I love when two actors, you know, of the same caliber that have like so much talent in their pinky that none of us could achieve to have, and they're just going back and forth at each other. It's just masterful.
It's kind of like the male equivalent of Joan Crawford and Whatchamadu.
Betty Davis.
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
exactly
it's
like that.
the same
Kind
type.
of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and except I don't know who was more cattier, the men
Yeah,
or the women.
Yeah, they both were pretty catty.
From what I've heard, they weren't the best of friends either.
None of them were.
Yeah.
Well, there is a
So-
black cat in it that scares the crap out of Bela Lugosi and makes him
And he
have a
kills
heart
it
attack
multiple times.
practically.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's a fun movie. I freaking love. I mean, that's a fun one for Halloween. It
It
is.
has a really good Halloween vibe.
It has a very great one, and you just like I said, for me, the reason I love it so much is you have two greats just doing what they do and trying to see, I'm better than you. Oh yeah, take that. You know, it's just I love that. The thespian in me just fucking loves it.
Fair enough. I can see your reasoning. Point Universal.
Meow.
And pussy.
Gotta get it.
No boy.
How did I know you were gonna go there, Jen?
I was just waiting for it. I was just waiting for it.
I actually wasn't expecting that, honestly.
Well, like,
John,
no,
you
like I
caught
wasn't
me off
necessarily
guard.
like the pun didn't immediately come to me, but as soon as it did, I was like, of course, Jen.
Yep.
Somewhere in Ireland, Marty is going, God damn it.
I feel like that's just perpetual at this point.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's his catchphrase. If he were an action figure, the button you press, one of the catchphrases would be "God damn it, Jen."
Pull the string.
Yeah, pull the string. Pull the string.
Pull the
Pull the
string.
string.
God damn it.
Yeah, I do have to agree with Jen. When you have Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi in a film like this, you know, it's got to be universal. It got to be universal. Nothing against The Devil Rides Out. It was pretty good. Nice seeing Christopher Lee being a good guy for once.
That is nice.
A good guy for once, but you know, I appreciate what they were trying to do, and the fact that he actually gave them this book. They said you got to make a movie, and it's like, hey, okay, we'll do it.
Yes, Mr. Lee.
Yeah.
Can I get you your coffee, sir? Would you like this pile of money, sir?
Would you like any sexual services?
Would you
sir?
like to run the entire studio, sir?
And they did also make him do shit he didn't want to do, because probably the condition was was like, can you do 17 more Dracula movies?
God damn it. Fine.
He was
see,
so amazing.
Christopher
Catty
Lee
is,
is
though.
like a superhero. He did everything. He's wonderful.
Yeah, so
He said he was sorry for howling.
He did apologize for howling too,
Oh
even
my
if he
God.
didn't need to.
oh man,
One of my favorite videos is there. It was on Amazon Prime for a while. It might still be, but it was like a little like TV show where he hosted like episodes where he talked about like different kinds of horror, and he did an episode on werewolves. And the first one was just like, at the beginning of that, he was like, the only werewolf picture I have appeared in is The Howling 2. And the less said about that one, the better.
I know that show you're talking about. I can't remember it, but yeah, I know what show you're talking about.
There's one soundbite that gets played in every episode of that. And it's just the most generic shit he's ever said. And it's just like, they definitely weren't expecting someone to watch all of these because you can't get away with that.
No, it's
yeah, I was surprised he decided to do the Howling too.
I mean,
he needed money.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing him just walk into like this 80s club setting as
with the glasses,
with the glasses,
with the fucking shades.
Yeah, well, why did he do Captain America?
God, I love Howling 2.
I also love that Peter Cushing and Chris Hurley were both in Star Wars at completely different times.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, you're right. Okay, Monty, point Universal.
All right, Martin.
You guys, I'm going The Devil Rides Out.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
I think it's an awesome movie. That's one of my favorite Hammer movies. You know, outside of the Draculas and the Frankensteins, that's one of my favorites. So I love seeing Christopher Lee as the good guy trying to save his friend from this evil cult. Love the fact that you actually see the devil.
Yep.
Yeah. You sure do.
Plus, I like Charles Gray a lot. I thought he made a great villain.
Yeah.
He was.
Great cast. There's some little hokiness to it at times, but I like the story,
That's
it's
most satanic cinema of the late 60s, early 70s, Sean. Have you seen The Devil's Reign?
Yes.
Hokiness is kind of their thing.
So if I didn't know any better, I'd say you have a bias toward Hammer.
So
hey, I gave a few to Universal, didn't I?
I think you just did that to cover your ass.
No, I actually prefer it. I like the Black Cat though. Like
this is another
like Jen said, that's the reason to watch it is these two iconic actors going at it.
Yeah, this is another pairing where I don't think there's a wrong answer.
No, I don't know.
It's not.
Devil Rides Out's very colorful too.
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
I think all satanic movies should be colorful.
I agree with that. Yeah.
They normally are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that one. Yeah.
Like a kaleidoscope.
I like how they all get in a circle together. And,
All right.
I do love that it's like exactly what you're expecting.
Yep. No surprises whatsoever.
No.
All right, what's up
next?
next?
The next one. Wait, Monty, did you say?
Oh yeah, Fiend hasn't.
I didn't answer shit.
Oh damn, forgot about that. Sorry about that, Martin.
Side?
Okay, so Devil Rides Out is amazing.
Yes.
I think again, Christopher Lee as this no-nonsense protagonist, the criminologist from Rocky Horror as the villain. Literally everything you're expecting out of a satanic cult, basically in the movie. It is also very like cut and dry good versus evil, though. Black Cat is one of the most morally like bizarre Universal movies I've ever seen.
True.
I love it for that reason.
Because like everything you've talked about like these two greats going up against each other is very true. Ooh. But there's so much bizarre shit and morbid shit in the Black Cat that makes it one of my favorites. So like, you've got a satanic cult. You've got this whole like war background to this. Lugosi's coming back after having fought in the war, and like this weird, like, it's not like a creepy old mansion. It's this very like modern Art Deco building, and it's built on top of like a battleground. And this guy is keeping like the dead bodies of all of his previous wives in like cases and just looking at them downstairs. And he still has like Lugosi's fiance somewhere else in the house, keeping her alive. And like he's just coveting all of these women, and it's really creepy.
True. Yeah, that's the right title.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got like one of the most sympathetic Lugosi roles I've ever seen. Like he loses his shit at the end of the movie, but most of it he spends just being tortured internally. And then he skins Boris Karloff alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you do.
It's fun.
He's fun.
Yep. And then you've got like the Latin chanting at the satanic ritual, which apparently they weren't allowed to do anything actually satanic. So he's saying like "Beware of dog" and shit. He says "Cave Canem," which I think is "Beware of dog."
Very cool.
I feel like I had something else to say. Oh, it's got David Manners in it again, as the protagonist. A little bit more interesting than he is in Dracula or the Mummy, too. I feel like there's a little bit more fun banter between him and his wife.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, The Devil's Ride Out came in 1968.
Yep. And also, Boris Karloff literally plays Toccata and Fugue in D minor on the organ. So,
fair.
Like, it's just got so much wild stuff in it. I also got to see it on the big screen because there was a Universal horror series that our local theater did years and years ago. And it was like all of the Universal monster standbys: Frankenstein, Dracula, Phantom of the Opera, Creature, Mummy, but then also the Black Cat and the Raven. The Raven is another great movie.
That's a good double feature.
Yeah. When they showed the Raven, it was thunderstorming outside. And at the moment that they take the bandages off Karloff's face, thunderstruck outside, people started applauding.
That's amazing.
It was so good.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, Black Cat for me, hands down.
All right. Universal.
Hammer's not looking too good.
Hammer's not faring the best, no.
I don't think it's gonna fare much better in the next one either.
Oh boy.
What is it?
Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein versus Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter.
I love
Captain Kronos.
Oh boy.
Hello, Captain Kronos.
Captain Kronos, you almost were amazing.
Almost.
Keyword is almost. Whoever edited that movie used a chainsaw. I swear to God. The fight scenes, there's some good sword fights in there, but you can't make out half of what the hell's going on most of the time because the editing is so choppy and cuts every other frame. It's kind of ridiculous.
Like, question though, Sean, did Hammer ever do a horror comedy like straight up?
That's as close as they came.
That's about as close as they came.
Really?
Yeah.
More than Seven Golden Vampires?
What's that?
Is it funnier than Seven Golden Vampires, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was intended. I don't think they intended to be
Seven
funny.
Golden Vampires isn't intended to be funny.
It wasn't.
It just kind of happens to be.
It kind of happens that way.
To be funny?
No, I don't think they intended to be funny. I think it just came out funny.
Yeah,
it just came out funny. No,
I think this was intended to be humorous. Captain Kronos.
Yeah, Sean was right. Captain Kronos is just terrible editing. I don't know what they were trying to do, but yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
for me, there's no doubt about it. You can't get any funnier than Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein.
Easily the best Abbott and Costello movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That was another thing that happened at Monster Bash. We got to see Abbott and Costello meet the killer Boris Karloff on actual film.
Oh,
It was
that's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah. There's this tiny clip of it in the highlight reel I posted. So
Ooh,
Very cool.
I still have to check that
and
out.
the film is stuttering, like they weren't getting it to work right properly at first. So
Nice. So point Universal.
But Carolyn
Monty.
Monroe, even when she's filthy, she's a goddess.
True.
But is that enough?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, see, this is
You don't like either movie particularly.
See,
I know.
I'm one of these people. I'm not. No, I've never like my.
You don't like slapstick.
Yeah. See, the thing is, funny thing is my dad tried to like. We have a very, but that's neither here nor there. But my dad, at a very young age, realized we were very different people, and he tried to like, make a connection with me. And he's like, she likes horror, so she'll like this. He got so excited. He thought, I'm going to show Jen something that she'll like. And he thought, you'll love this Abbott and Costello because it's got horror elements. No, Jen did not. I liked my dark, depressing shit. I'm like, no, I'm a little too sophisticated for this bullshit, Dad. I'm gonna go watch this fucked up movie. You have fun with your slapstick stuff, and go see the Sandlot. That kind of thing. I never really got into it, and I know that's really controversial, but as a horror fan, it surprises everybody.
So, are you going with Captain Kronos?
Hell no, I'm not going with Captain Kronos.
All this build up, and she's like fucking shot down.
Yeah, but I do agree with you because
I guess if I have to pick,
I'm not a fan
I'll
of
go with Abbott
I'm not a
and
fan of
Costello.
slapstick horror neither. That's why I was not a fan of the Three Stooges. I mean, there's so much you can do with just
I love the Three Stooges.
I know. I just couldn't. I get why they were funny. I just could not get slapstick humor is not for me. That's the whole thing.
So how do you feel about Army of Darkness, Monty?
Not a fan either.
It's
I kind of
also my
figured
least
because
favorite
it's
Evil Dead
literally
movie.
Three Stooges bits that they're doing.
I
Yeah,
guess
it
it's the
is.
reason why.
It
I
is,
guess
but-
it's one of the reasons why I didn't like Army. I mean, it's okay, but to me, yeah, because it played more on the slapstick thing, and it's like to me that's why I didn't find it funny. I mean, I get that's kind of because it's sort of the thing like Sam Raimi is. It's sort of that's what he does. You get some of that in Drag Me to Hell. You get some of that silliness in that film too.
There's a teeny bit of Three Stooges in the original Evil Dead.
Every single Evil Dead movie has Three Stooges bit in it.
Yeah, no, I guess because he's a fan of that, so you see all that kind of a slapstick stuff in his films. But it's just slapstick humor was not to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was never much for me.
That's fair. I'm with you, honestly. As a massive Evil Dead fan, yeah, Army of Darkness is my least favorite as well.
It's my favorite.
Abbott and Costello, but grudgingly.
So yeah.
Could it be with that point?
So point Universal, and for me, like I said, Captain Kronos had potential to be this really cool. It could be a really unique and interesting movie. It's like a mixture of like swashbuckling sword adventure movies and vampires, which is a really cool blending. But man, that editing ruins the movie for me. Like, there's some stuff I really like about the movie, and I almost like dare say it, possibly if we remade it and redid some things, maybe you could do something with it. It's a cool premise.
I would watch it.
See. Yeah, I don't think it's not one where I'm like vehemently against the idea of doing a remake of it because it's almost there. If you had
that's a perfect one to do remakes.
Yeah, if you had some tighter editing there, I would be fine. I would dig the hell out of Captain Kronos, but in its current state, yeah, it's pretty rough around the edges. So I'm also going to say Abbott and Costello because it's a movie that has literally every single old guard legendary horror actor in it. Even Vincent Price gets in there at the very end.
Yeah, I know.
It's cute. It's just a glorious film. You get to see all of the classic actors playing their roles. So it's
Except
just wonderful.
Karloff.
Except for Karloff, but otherwise you
promoted
get
the hell out of
everyone
it,
else
making
in
people
there,
thought he
and it's
actually
just
played the
super
monster.
wonderful. So point Universal. Sean, are you going to be the one defender of Captain Kronos?
I haven't
Hell
said
no,
shit yet
I
either.
forget
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's my favorite horror comedy of all time. I love everything about it.
Very cool.
I'm actually a fan of Abbott and Costello. I love them.
I like
And
all.
this
I like
is
all
their
their movies.
finest hour right here.
Mhm.
So.
I get that.
Yeah, no, I'm a bigger Marx Brothers fan, but I like the Abbott and Costello.
Oh, yeah.
movies. I think they're all so good.
I appreciate what they do. They're just not for me.
I get that. I can totally
Mhm.
understand that.
I feel like there's like weird horror connections with every like classic comedy like troupe, because like Abbott and Costello were actually in the horror movies. Sam Raimi's obsessed with the Three Stooges. Rob Zombie's obsessed with the Marx Brothers.
He is
Yeah.
obsessed
Oh
with
yes,
the Marx
he's
Brothers.
definitely obsessed with the Marx Brothers. Yes.
Yeah, no, to the point where for a while he was supposed to direct a Groucho biopic.
Which I would watch the hell out
I
of.
would totally watch Rob Zombie's Groucho Marx biopic. I feel like with somebody, it's kind of like how I feel about his Munsters. I'm cautious, but like given how much of a fan he is of this source material, there's potential.
Yeah, I
So
watched
where's
that
the
teaser
Laurel and
trailer,
Hardy
and it's like it's a
connection?
PG movie.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Wee
Yeah.
Will's also a huge fan of Halloween.
Yeah, well,
Shut up, Sean!
Keyword was.
Those are good movies! You know how I feel about those movies, and I was saying it before the tide was turning. They're not that bad. Like, the first one's legitimately good. The second one has issues, but there's some good stuff there. We know it. Come on, work with me. Come on, Sean. They're not
Uh-oh, I've unleashed the beast.
You know how it is when it comes
Okay.
to Rob Zombie and Halloween.
God damn it, we've gotten off on the Rob Zombie tangent. Where were we before?
Look, all I will say is this will probably be the thing that finally gets me fired from this show. I'll take Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 over other Halloween 2 any fucking day of the week.
I will not.
So,
nice working with you, son.
yeah, great to work with everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
Wait, who's gonna keep score? I can't do basic math.
Oh man.
Says you can't count.
Okay, where were we?
I have no fucking idea. I think we're on to the next movie.
When Sean's
Clean
thinking about
sweep,
new
clean
people.
sweep.
Stop
Clean
skipping me.
Oh shit! Right, Fiend.
Okay, so I do want to talk about Captain Kronos because I actually like Captain Kronos. Like, it has issues, but
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really fun movie with a really like fucking weird vampire lore to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the burying toads so they come back to life shit.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. What the fuck was with that?
I still don't understand.
I don't get. I didn't get that neither.
Yeah, and then like the vampire operates differently from any other Hammer vampire. Like the victims look fucked up afterwards.
Yeah.
And also people try to lump it in with the Karnstein trilogy. Cause like the vampire at the end was like, my ancestor was a Karstein, and it's like that's not the
Yeah,
same
I know.
goddamn thing.
No.
I do also, Sean, since you brought up Carolyn Monroe, I got to meet Carolyn Monroe at Monster Bash, and she was so sweet. One of
I
the
bet.
nicest people I've ever met. And since Sean asked me to, she signed my copy of Dracula AD 1972.
Fuck yeah!
Nice.
The best Dracula movie.
Pretty good. Anyway, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein definitely wins. It's like, and like, I know people have said they're not as into slapstick. It was never the slapstick comedy that I found funny about Abbott and Costello. It was their banter. Cause like the back and forth of like, Abbott being like, hey, or like Chick being like, hey, you can't do this to me. I'm a union man. I work 16 hours a day. A union man works 8 hours a day. I belong to 2 unions. Like all of the little bits of banter that they like, you can see the joke coming a mile away, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
There's more to them than just slapstick, you know. There's
Yeah,
clever
like
banter, you know.
yeah, like it's, I think wordplay is what they do best. Like, who's on first is their iconic thing. That's not a slapstick bit.
That's true.
That's
yeah.
true.
And then,
Creative routines, you know.
Yep. Second time Lugosi ever actually played Dracula out of the 2 times he's played the character, and yet he still owns that character. So
Yeah. He certainly does.
He's great in it, yeah. Point to Universal.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I think Sean, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think it's looking too good for
It's not
Hammer.
looking too good.
I don't think Hammer's gonna make it through the night. You might want to get your rights in order for it. It's not long for this world.
Sean, you could have rigged this by just picking like weak Universal sequels and like
Yeah.
really good Hammer movies.
Yeah, but how much fun would that be?
Yeah.
You could have given a
Well, it
couple
could have
easy
been fun
ones.
for you and us just looking like, Sean, you rigged this, and you being like, I have no idea what you're talking
I have
about.
no idea what you're talking about. Clearly, everyone
Speak-
loves Son of Dracula.
Speaking of
Oh.
weak Universal sequels, Son of Frankenstein versus Horror of Frankenstein.
Ooh, that's a toughie. That's a toughie.
Really, for you?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Who's on first?
I don't know who's on first, boy.
I don't know. Fiend, do you want to go since we've ignored you the last couple times?
Okay, so I don't think I've actually seen Horror of Frankenstein.
Ah,
Oh, you
Okay.
should, man.
I should.
Mhm.
Should.
Yes.
I think, but like, weak Universal sequel, Son of Frankenstein?
yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, compared to the first.
Oh, compared to
two,
Bride,
I mean,
anything's
come on.
weak.
Yeah.
It's not in the league of Bride of Frankenstein or
Yeah,
the
but
original.
like, the first time I watched those Universal movies, me and my dad sat down and we watched Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein basically in one sitting. And those are like that's like the Karloff trilogy. That's like the last one where he actually plays the monster. And he's
But you
got that
got
weird,
him
like,
strapped to the bed the entire movie practically.
I mean, yeah, but
It worked in Misery.
true.
Yes, Son of Frankenstein and Misery.
Most
2 movies
interesting
that are
characters.
exactly
You-
alike.
You guys know what I mean. He was in bed most of the movie. Fuck you, you little smartass.
Okay, I do want to see like a horror movie where it's like from the perspective of the monster being like strapped to a table and like the horror of being paralyzed there. That would be cool.
I'd be down for that, honestly.
There's actually a porno that's kind of
Enough.
That's not the
No.
same thing,
That
Jen.
is, yes, that is not the same thing we're asking for, sweetie.
But no, it is. You get a perspective from the dude.
That's wonderful, sweetie. I'm good for you. Good for you.
Okay. But like I love the idea that we've got Basil fucking Rathbone as
Mhm.
the descendant of the original Doctor. He's so wholesome. I love his family so much. That kid's a little bit obnoxious, but I kind of like him.
Do you know who that kid is?
I forgot. I think I knew at one point.
Okay, so here's a fun thing. And this is why I say there's actually 4 movies in this sort of mini, like in between House of Frankenstein and this. That kid was a young. Why am I blanking on his name? God damn it! Young Frankenstein.
Gene Wilder?
Yes, that kid was a young Gene Wilder who
Fucking
plays the
really?
grandson of Frankenstein in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, I
That
know.
was Gene Wilder's
Holy
first.
shit.
That was Gene Wilder's first movie
Yeah, I
performance.
remember that
So
now.
technically,
shit.
Young Frankenstein canonically works as a sequel to Son of Frankenstein.
That's
since
fucking amazing.
I know, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, that's. I think it was you that told me that. And I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah, that was Gene Wilder's first movie role. He got. I
Okay,
think he's
I
under,
love him
he's under a
wholeheartedly now.
different name, but yeah,
forget
it's
me
Gene
thinking
Wilder's
he's
first
annoying.
movie role.
Okay, I will say I don't like the monster's outfit in this one quite as well. The weird
You don't
hairy
like the
suit.
fur?
Yeah, I
That's
don't care
fair.
for the fur as much. I like him better in his But I do like that we have the monster trying to befriend a child again.
Mm-hmm.
And the first appearance of Bela Lugosi as Igor, which is one of his
Yes.
best Universal
Yes.
roles. Totally
Mhm.
different than anything else he's ever done.
Oh, Igor.
And when
It's
Bela Lugosi,
pronounced Igor.
Yes, in this one, it's pronounced Igor.
in this one,
Don't
it's
know.
pronounced Wygor.
Ooh, technicality.
Because, like, okay, and that's another pet peeve of mine. Everybody always looks up the Hunchbacked assistant and is like, Igor, but
Igor.
it's Fritz in the
Fritz.
first movie.
Mhm.
Nobody remembers Fritz. Everybody remembers Igor, who never even worked with the original Dr. Frankenstein, and everybody spells it with an I when it was with a Y. Come on.
I like the Igor. It's more catchy.
It is.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
also love that, like, Igor's just this nefarious little asshole who's just using the monster to kill people he doesn't like. And he's got a broken neck.
I think he steals the movie. Like,
Oh, absolutely. And then, like, in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, I'm still bummed that they cut all of Lugosi's dialogue as the monster with Igor's brain. Because they were just like,
I don't know.
why is this
That'd
goofy
be
little
weird.
Hungarian man's voice coming out of the monster? Even though they did it already in Ghost of Frankenstein.
Hmm.
Because they, like, the whole walk like this is because the monster is supposed to be blind, but they cut out
Yeah.
all the references to him being blind and then reshot footage where he can clearly see what he's doing. So, yeah. But Son of Frankenstein, I think, is another pretty much perfect movie. Oh, Lionel Atwill is Inspector Krogh too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So good.
Yep.
And you've got, it gets spoofed in Young Frankenstein, but you've still got that great scene where he's sticking the darts in his arm and throwing them at the
Yep.
wall. And I love that.
The darts.
It's great. Point Universal.
Yeah, but this shouldn't count. He's never even seen horror.
I already put it down.
Technicality.
Wow.
Look, Hammer has no hope at this point. Let's just see how many Universal can rack up.
Yeah, it amazes me to see the vast differences between the Curse of Frankenstein and the Horror of Frankenstein, mainly because there's no Peter Cushing in the Horror of Frankenstein. I'm like, what? No Peter Cushing? And they
well,
tried.
he's a young Frankenstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they tried with this particular version of Frankenstein, but it's not one of the better ones. And obviously, the Son of Frankenstein, which to me, it's not better than the Bride, but it's definitely better than the horror Frankenstein. So I got to go Universal again on this one.
Point Universal.
What even happens in Horror of Frankenstein? Someone enlighten me.
Young Frankenstein finds a corpse, tries to reanimate it, do Frankenstein things. I believe, Sean, you probably would know better than me. I believe this is the one that I was talking about earlier, where he kills somebody by, like, when they try to tell him, like, you should stop this insanity before, and then he's like, yeah, I'll do that. Go unscrew those wires quick for me, and we'll disassemble
Yeah.
Gladden and fries him. Is this that movie?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
I believe
it has
was,
that, which
yeah.
is my favorite bit. Of
Okay,
the
that's
entire
fun.
movie.
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
that's
watch
a really
that one.
fun bit.
There is
It's
some
a-
good humor in
There's some good
Horror
humor. It's probably the
Humor in
most
it.
comedic out of the Hammer Frankenstein
Yeah, because
movies.
it was a semi-parody, and I think there's David Prowse was in this. He played the monster.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is the one where David Prowse, who later went on to play Darth Vader in the suit, plays
Ooh.
Frankenstein, and he's
this
a
is
super
the most
buff
brutal
Jack
monster I
Frankenstein.
think ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he like axes somebody to death at one point. Like,
Yep. Yeah,
he's
he's super
brutal.
buff.
Yeah, he's a
It's cool.
he's a
Ironically, the one where the actor who played Vader isn't in the one where Peter Cushing in it. Ironically, but you know,
Mhm.
It's like it's like the two Hammer stars were in Star Wars at different times, and the two Star Wars people were in Hammer at different times.
yep, they were in the
Mhm.
Frankenstein movies at completely different times.
Yep.
And hey, you got Veronica Carlson and Kate O'Mara.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I like horror Frankenstein. I think it's fun. Again, I really love the bit of him just frying that one dude by tricking him into thinking, yeah, I've turned over a leaf. You're right. This is crazy. What was I thinking? Zap. I love that. That's wonderful.
You would do
That's
that.
one of my. If I was a mad scientist, absolutely.
I did want to be a mad scientist when I grew up.
Yeah, but but Son of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the more underrated Universal films. It's not up there with Bride. Sean is right with that, but I'm also with Fiend. I would not call it subpar at all. It's really damn good. I like a lot of stuff in it. Rathbones are really good. I like how it's just it continuing on and expanding on the thing of seeing like the what Victor's legacy is doing to his family. I like to see how that's all happening. It's just Igor is, as Fiend called him, a delightful little shit. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it to Son, but I like horror Frankenstein. It has some good moments. It's slept on, but Son, point Universal. What about you?
Because the darts. I fucking love the darts. I love that scene. That is like so fucking cool. When I was a kid, I was like, that is so fucking cool. And and Rathbone, like you said, I mean, just you gotta.
Yeah.
And yeah. Hammer's fine. Sorry, Sean. Hammer's fine. It's not a bad one, and like Christian said, there is some comedic elements that you can appreciate in it, but you don't have darts. You don't have the darts.
You don't have Peter Cushing either, which I think is its ultimate.
And mostly you don't have darts. Boom, boom. As a kid, I was like, that's fucking cool. I should try that.
Oh wait, I don't have a prosthetic arm. Point Universal. Sean, are you going to be the lone defender of Hammer again?
I'm sorry, Sean.
Yeah, but you forgot the cheesy Keystone Cops.
Oh yeah.
Did you forget that?
I because of my love for Last House on the Left, I should like the cops in this one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am going hard for Frank.
Okay.
Very underrated because people always say, "Oh, this is the one without Peter Cushing as Frankenstein," just like Brides of Dracula. Doesn't have Christopher Lee. I think Ralph Bates was a great choice for a young Frankenstein. I thought he did a great job. He has no redeeming. I like that he has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. He's straight up evil, and he doesn't give a shit. And I like that. I like that about it. And I like that the monster is so much more brutal and he's vicious. And it's got some great humor, which is something different, for the Frankenstein films.
I totally can see that. Point Hammer.
You don't say that very much tonight.
I haven't said that in a while, no.
Good night, Sean.
Night, other Sean.
I do enjoy Son of Frankenstein, but yeah, it bothers me that he's strapped to the thing the whole time, and
like Misery.
It just seemed like
yes, just like Misery, 1-to-1.
Little last hurrah for Boris Karloff, but it could have been better. I feel like Bella steals the movie from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
other
does.
thing,
he totally does.
Yeah,
as he should. He's fucking Bella.
Yeah, when people asked Bela about the character of Igor, his only response was, "God, he was cute."
Maybe there's hope yet. Son of Dracula, 1943. Dracula has risen from the grave.
I completely forgot you actually did put Son of Dracula in the running. Okay, you did rig one of these.
That's not rigged.
Oh no!
Why, Sean? Why?
It's kind. I mean.
Even Fiend, who's the Universal file, is like, yeah. That right there speaks to the quality of Son of Dracula. It introduced the idea of a la carte, and that is all.
I mean, I will say other good things about Son of Dracula.
Okay, what else do you got to say about Son of Dracula?
No one else does.
Okay, so I think the lighting, for one thing. Atmosphere is awesome. I love that you've got this female character who's just like playing Dracula the entire movie and is actually like going behind his back, being like, actually, we're going to burn his coffin and I'm just going to be a vampire. I was using him this whole time.
That's fair, honestly. Yeah, that's a fun
think,
idea.
I think that's a fun idea. It also did slightly influence Lily because she's like, when he's like vampire, she's like, we don't use that word. We don't like that word. We refer to ourselves as immortals and you will respect that. I kind of tried to introduce some of that because I was like, this is universal canon, I guess.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Technically.
And like Lon Chaney Jr. as Alucard is fine. But
He's fine.
I do love how like fucking angry he gets when he sees his coffin on fire at the end of the movie, and he's just like, put it out. But he's not really convincing as a member of the Dracula family the way Gloria Holden is at all. So here's my headcanon.
Oh boy.
So some people are like, is this also supposed to be Count Dracula? Absolutely not. I feel like Alucard and then like the Dracula we see in House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula, the John Carradine, Baron Latos, those are both two different characters who were bitten by Lugosi Dracula.
Bitten by Lugosi Dracula?
Yeah. So John Carradine is also a different character who's like trying to pass himself off as the original because like that body got burned in Dracula's Daughter.
That's true, yeah.
And then Alucard is just some dude who Lugosi Dracula bit in one time when he was staying over in America. And this guy's like, I'm like, oh, I got bitten by Dracula. I'm going to hype this up as much as I can.
I'm into this headcanon, honestly. I love the idea of Carradine and Alucard just being, yep, we're totally Dracula, guys. Let's play it.
I will probably write a sequel to Lily at some point where they show up, and it will be fun. But yeah,
they're just fucking snake oil salesmen, basically.
Literally. But yeah, it's not great. Also, the fucking plantation setting just makes it that much more yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty uncomfortable with that.
So like, I feel like Dracula Has Risen from the Grave kind of does win this one by default.
Absolutely.
Mostly for that reason. And like, yeah, Christopher Lee is great in that one. I think it has one of the most like likable protagonists in the Hammer Draculas. Like, I really get invested in his story before Dracula even shows up as a part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Neither one of these are like the most remarkable sequels in either series for me.
Nope.
But a couple of the negatives about Son of Dracula just outweigh the positives for me. So Dracula Has Risen from the Grave wins. But I am a defender of Son of Dracula to some degree.
To some degree.
Point Hammer.
Now, Sean, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I knew you'd at least be with me on this one.
So Monty, what does Christopher Lee have to say about Son of Dracula?
I forget what he said about Son of Dracula.
What does Christopher Lee as Dracula have to say about Son of Dracula?
Oh, get this thing out of my sight. It amazes me when I first saw Son of Dracula, and I think this is not the first time that they used the Alucard name for a vampire. Supposedly not, he's Dracula, but he uses Alucard. I forget who the other one is. Was it John Carradine who played it? I don't think
John Carradine.
No, he didn't use the Alucard pseudonym in the house or
Didn't he?
I don't think he did he?
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, he refers to himself as Baron Latos in House of Frankenstein.
Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think.
I know he's played Dracula before.
Oh, yeah.
But I know there was another vampire
it's
film.
revealed that he's Dracula.
Yeah, because I think there's another vampire film that used Alucard as his name, trying to fool people. And not that I didn't have a problem with Son of Dracula. It's just, it was okay, but
kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But it's like this. When I first saw Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and it's obviously a follow up to Prince of Darkness, and this is the first, probably the first time, other since House of Dracula, that we hear Christopher Lee speaking as roles, and of course that iconic line that I just simply love. When my brother and I first saw it, we cracked up laughing when we first saw that. So it's one of my favorite Christopher Lee's performance of Dracula. So it's got to go hammer with this one.
Point hammer.
What about you, Jen?
What about you?
Oh, Universal all the way.
You're a secret big Son of Dracula fan.
No.
You got the hots for Alucard.
This is you're gonna have to add another point to Hammer because like everyone else says, it's fine. It's perfectly serviceable. The lighting's cool. Fiend's right. The lighting's cool. But Risen from the Grave's just a lot better.
Point hammer.
What about you?
Point hammer. I'm not a big fan of Son
It's
of Dracula. I like the idea. I like the whole Alucard shtick, but less for this movie and more for like how later things like Castlevania and Helsing utilize the idea of Alucard and Dracula being two separate entities while also kind of being the same.
Yeah, it's like his son is like, I'm gonna spell your name backwards because
fuck you, Dad. I'm you, but reverse. I'm a good person.
Yeah, my favorite is in Castlevania when these people just keep showing up and referring to him as the Alucard, and he's like, "Why the fuck are people calling me this?
Why? I don't understand. It's just Alucard."
They had Johnny Alucard in Dracula AD in 1972.
Oh God, you're right. Johnny Alucard. I forgot.
The scene where Peter Cushing's like writing it down. Ooh, it's
my
Dracula
God, you're right.
backwards.
Yeah.
I remember that, but I forget that they call him the Alucard.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And my favorite is in Son of Dracula, where like they see Alucard's like trunk, and the guy like beginning of the movie starts reading it out backwards, and they're like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he's like, "Oh, it was probably nothing. Just a
fine.
hunch. It's fine."
My personal favorite spin on the Alucard Dracula thing is actually from Helsing Abridged. I love the bit.
I need to watch the Abridged so bad.
It's fucking hilarious. I love the bit that they do towards the end where it's him and Anderson talking, and it's like, "Fuck you! I didn't come here to fight Dracula. I want to fight fucking Alucard." And he's like, "You do realize that is just my name spelled?" "Of fucking course I know it's just your name spelled backwards. Bring him the fuck out!" I love that. That was so good.
That's so good. Yeah.
Sean, what about you?
Oh, we get a hammer sweep. At least we get one.
Shocker! Ooh.
Yeah, hammer's got a sweep.
I could have voted for Son of Dracula.
Yeah.
Almost.
I actually don't mind Son of Dracula. I kind of like it. That's just like.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great, but it's fun.
Neither of these movies are particularly remarkable, I'm gonna say.
I love Dracula's Risen from the Grave. I think it has some of the best gothic atmosphere in the Hammer movie, believe it or not. It's kind of overlooked for that.
Yeah.
I love the scenes when he's climbing up the mountain in the fog, and then he's got the bright cross, then the Monsignor, the bright cross shining in the light. Really cool stuff. And then he puts it in the doorway so Dracula can't get in. Good stuff. I like the Monsignor character, and then you had that guy Paul, who's an atheist, which is an interesting element,
It's like the first time I can think of where an atheist was like the protagonist of a movie.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about it too. Although I feel like they're trying to like convert him towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's the one thing where I'm like kind of iffy on the movie. Is I kind of would have thought it would have been stronger if he was didn't convert by the end of the film. Like, I guess I get you kind of had to, but like, I don't know. I thought that would have been kind of cool to have him figure out a different way besides like using the religious iconography to defeat Dracula.
But like that goes against the whole mythos they've set up. So
yeah, fair enough.
And then you have Christopher Lee once again never letting anyone take his victims. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like throw her in the fire. You know, like Xena. Well, what about me?
Mhm.
You must be punished. And I like that, you know,
Hammer.
he took a priest to be his servant, you know, that's
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
cool stuff. I really enjoy it. I love the final act and everything. It was one of the better ones. And probably my favorite death of Dracula, you know, when he falls off the cliff onto the cross and
Mhm.
paled and the blood dripping down his eye.
It's a close second behind Thornbush for me.
Yeah.
I think Ben Grimm was in the chat earlier, and he was like, "That's my favorite Dracula Hammer movie because Dracula gets killed by a thorn bush."
Oh, Satanic Rites of Dracula.
I have very fond memories of my first time watching that movie. It was I had like the house to myself, and I had a double feature of that with What We Do in the Shadows. It was a great night.
That is an amazing double feature.
That's an amazing movie.
Fuck yeah.
Peter!
Oh, that.
I love
That's-
Satanic Rites. I don't care.
Oh yeah, such
Oh
a
no,
fun
I like Satanic Rites a lot too.
It's fun as shit.
Although I will say, it's like, oh, vampires are killed by running water, but the sprinkler system, the sprinkler system.
Yeah, I know. Why didn't I think of that? Nobody's ever thought of that before. I always hated that idea. Clear running water can kill a vampire.
I mean, they sure do go with that in Prince of Darkness, and I think it works
Prince
out
of
there.
Darkness, yeah.
it
Yeah,
does.
Prince of Darkness, yes.
I much prefer Dracula Has Risen from Prince of Darkness, actually.
Me too.
Mhm.
I do too. I'm growing to appreciate Prince of Darkness more and more, though. Every time I
Yeah, I
watch
mean,
it, I
I,
like it a little better.
enjoy it, but that ending kills me.
Yeah.
It just kills me. All right, we got one left. And
One
I have
left.
a feeling how
Hammer
it's gonna
take it at
go,
the last
but-
second. No, it cannot.
Oh, this I remember hearing about this one. This one's going to be interesting.
Oh boy.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992.
Yes!
Versus
Yes!
remake.
Yes! I've been waiting all
Oh,
night! Yes!
This
Yes!
is Let Me In, one of the later Hammer movies, one of the new kind of breed of Hammer movies.
Well,
Also
since
re-
you're so
also a
So
remake.
you're so giddy, Jen. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen.
We're gonna go with Bram fucking Dracula's Dracula! Bram's the...
Bram
What the
freaking
fuck?
Dracula's
Bram
Dracula.
Dracula's
I'm
Dracula.
tired, okay?
Bram's
So talk about how
Dracula's
you how
Dracula.
like Gary
Bram
Oldman was your
Stoker's-
sexual awakening. or
Oh my
something.
god, guys, like, fuck, this movie is so good. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking, but Jen, fucking Keanu Reeves, like, doesn't talk like gothic and stuff. I don't
Stop.
fucking care. I
Stop.
don't fucking
Like,
care.
oh my
All
God.
of you,
It's
shut up.
Oh my god, it's Dracula. That's crazy,
Dude,
dude.
Dracula.
Okay, so
It's
so Jen,
fine. It's
So
fine.
great.
Gary fucking Oldman. Like, you can have everybody talking like a little surfer boy. And it doesn't matter. Fucking Gary Oldman. I crossed rivers of time for you. Every
Oh,
woman
he's so
wants
hot.
to be like told that. And the hat. And when he like saves her, it's fucking awesome. And then he like goes, she kills herself because they tell her he's dead, honey. And so she's like, I can't live without you. So she kills herself. Only he's not dead. They lied. And then he curses God. And there's like a fucking cross, bleeding blood. And then you have orgies on top of that.
I'd like to point out one of your one of
Uh-oh, he got the
Ah,
hat.
nice.
I'd love to point out. Yeah. God damn it. Yeah.
I wonder what my answer is going to be.
This is our
Yeah,
next
I
Dracula
wonder.
right here.
I love that one of your things is just the hat. He does look fucking fabulous in that hat.
He fucking looks fabulous
looks
in that hat. And
fabulous.
Winona Ryder is,
He's good.
Anthony Hopkins. I know you have a problem with that, but fuck you. Anthony Hopkins is.
I have issues, but I also ultimately.
Issues?
Yeah, I also fuck you. I also ultimately love his Van Helsing too.
I do too. And Lucy is such a fucking whore in this, and I'm here for it. She's caught teasing them all, and it's fucking hot. And I'm like, go. And did I mention orgies
and werewolf sex
and syphilis?
and yeah, this. Bram Stoker's Dracula, a truly romantic, beautiful story involving wolf fucking, syphilis, and baby eating.
Yes, I mean, it has everything. I fucking adore this movie so much. It is a masterpiece. I don't fucking care. You could have put any movie against this. This movie always wins. For real, bro.
So what you're saying is you're going for Let Me In.
Fuck you.
Okay, point
Okay,
universal.
thoughts on Let Me In though?
Yeah, over Let Me In.
Yes, I thought you have no idea.
Okay, question. If it was Let the Right One In, would it still be Bram Stoker's?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I would be regretful. You know how much I love this movie.
Okay,
like
fair enough, fair
legitimately, this is a great cast. It is such a gothic. It is oozing gothic. And
Yes,
just
it is
atmosphere.
gothic energy out the fucking celluloid.
And I think every actor, yes, even Keanu Reeves works.
Shaw.
And fucking Gary Oldman, so fucking fuckable. Oh my god, I'm gonna get a hat for Marty.
Oh,
Dracula.
And I'm gonna make him say, only in an Irish
Dracula.
accent, Jen, I've crossed rivers of time.
oh boy.
Isn't
Yes.
it Oceans of Time?
Oceans
It's
of time,
oceans
yes.
of time.
Rivers is way less
I'm
impressive.
tired.
Jen-
I crossed one stream of time for you, Mina.
I crossed this puddle of time.
Well, in my case, considering the men I've dated, that'd still be an improvement.
Fair enough. Yes. Okay.
So why do you hate Dracula?
the fuck? No,
You always give me shit for
Okay.
loving this movie.
I like the movie. I don't love it to your extent, but I like the movie a lot. Admittedly, if this was Let the Right One In, I would give that movie the edge. But since it's Let Me In, which is it's a very good remake. It's solid. It keeps most of the same spirit of the original film. I like
Carrie Elwes.
I like it I like it quite a bit. It's a good remake, but original film is far superior. Bram Stoker's Dracula is really good. The Coppola film is really damn solid. Gary Oldman's a great Dracula.
He's a fucking fuckable Dracula.
He's hot. I'll give you that. He's
hot.
I like
like butter.
yes.
He's even hot as old man.
Oh, you're into butthead Dracula.
Fuck you.
You're into the weird.
Butthead
Like not now, but when I get old, yeah,
Not the
I
Ozzy
totally bone
Dracula.
it.
Are you into him when he's just a pile of rats on the ground, Jen?
Yes.
Oh, that was hot. that was the hottest he ever was. Was a pile of that.
Gary Oldman.
No,
God damn it.
it's a very good movie. I really like it. I don't love it to your extent or even a lot of other people, probably because like I didn't grow up around it. It came out before I was busy being dead at the time this movie
So
was
are all the
released.
other movies we've talked about.
Oh yeah, but I didn't grow up with it and I didn't discover it until like later in. I don't have the nostalgia for it that I do with like a lot of the Universal or Hammer films, but I do think it's a very solid retelling of Dracula. It's good. I like it a lot. Point Universal on my end.
What
But
do you love about it? Like, if you had to pick one thing.
honestly, like I joke about it, but I just love how like weirdly two-tone it is, because like yes, it is genuinely a really great love story.
Sort of.
But it also has these super eccentric, over-the-top bits of like the wolf fucking, the baby eating, Anthony Hopkins talking about syphilis for some reason. It's really ridiculous and over the top, and I love that element of the movie. I love how it does actually play this really good balance between the two. And then I actually really love the dance hall scene with the mirror. I love that. I think that's all really damn good. It's a good movie. I don't love it to your extent, but I like the movie a lot.
You don't want to fuck Gary Oldman as much as me.
Maybe not as much as you, but he's not, on the bottom of the list. Yeah, no, it's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Let Me In is good, but not Let the Right One In.
This movie so much. It's my baby.
Do you have other thoughts on Let Me In any way?
You go.
It's a good movie. It is a very good remake. But Let the Right One In is just a
Yeah.
vastly superior version of it. It's like it's good. It's like it's like finding out a really good store brand knockoff of a name brand
A
thing.
dupe, basically.
Like, yeah, it's good. It
That's a
is
good way to put it.
genuinely very good. In the right mood, I might choose it over the other one. But when a far superior thing exists over it, that's basically the exact same thing, I'll choose that one. I like
Yeah.
Let Me In though. I think it is very good. A lot of the performances are very good. It's pretty faithful to the original movie as well as the original book. So,
Yeah.
I like it. I don't have a disdain for it. I know some people who love.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, I know some people who love Let the Right One In hate Let Me In for some reason. I don't. I think it's a pretty solid movie. Both of them are very good modern vampire movies.
Yeah, I don't get why people hate Let Me In, because it's
I don't either.
Oh yeah, because it's a decent remake, and you really don't. One of the rare times where you actually see a decent American version of a foreign film, unlike Martyrs.
Or
Unlike
Old Boy.
We don't talk about Martyrs.
What about Old Boy?
Or Old Boy? But we especially don't talk about Martyrs.
Or the remake of Inside?
that one's just fucking forgettable.
We saw it.
We did see it.
Ooh, man. And I have to watch. I haven't watched either version of it, so I have to watch those.
The French one is fun.
Yes.
It is Looney Tunes and over the top as fuck, but it's fun. The remake is boring and
Just
forgettable.
don't watch it after you've had a baby.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, but I will have to go with Bram Stoker's Dracula, mainly because Gary Oldman's performance of Dracula itself. Anthony Hopkins is Professor Van Halen. He's good. He's good in his role. I mean, not Van Halen.
Woo!
Van Helsing.
God.
Van Halen rocks, man.
Oh my god, I want to see a vampire movie now.
Jump.
Where fucking it's the members of Van Halen versus vampires. That would be awesome.
I mean, have you seen Suck with Eddie Van Helsing as the vampire hunter?
That'd be amazing. I
Have you
haven't.
seen that
Holy
movie?
shit.
I heard of it. I have not seen it.
It's great. It's like it's a rock and roll vampire movie with like a rock band that's all turned to vampires. They're being hunted by Eddie Van Helsing. The members of Rush and like Alice Cooper and Iggy Pop are all in the movie.
That is amazing. I am watching that tonight.
Please go watch it. It's
Fuck
delightful.
yeah. No, the only rock and roll vampire movie I can think of is Rockula, which is questionable.
I guarantee you Suck is better.
Probably. I have a soft spot for Rockula because I love 80s one-hit wonders and new wave, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, but and it's the music, it's the score of that one. Obviously, Anne Lennox, love song for a vampire. Love that particular song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can forgive Keanu Reeves and his fake accent.
I think it works.
Excellent.
I don't think it works. It does not work.
It doesn't work.
Fucking works, dude.
It's forgivable, but it does not work.
Chad,
No.
Vampire women
Come
are
on.
gonna come and do sexy things to me. Excellent.
I mean, it works for him in the movie. He's got these women crawling over him. But
Well, yeah, they want to kill him though.
Yes.
that's true.
I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, he's
Yeah,
not
but
even
after
compared
they
to
do
Gary
it-
Oldman.
You
no.
shut your mouth. Keanu is a gorgeous person.
I'm not saying he isn't, but everyone fails when it's fucking Gary Oldman. Fuck you all.
So definitely Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Point universal. I'm sorry, Hammer.
Did Universal even make Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yep.
Yeah.
It did, yes.
Oh,
Well, Columbia, which is was a Universal subsidiary.
that's very true. How would this have fared if we were looking at like Frank Langella's Dracula versus Let Me In?
I would have went
Frank Langella Dracula. I might have gone with probably Let Me In then.
I probably would have gone and Let Me In too.
All right. So
God damn it, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
So I do want to actually talk about Let Me In, even though
Point universal.
I haven't seen Let Me In per se.
Okay.
You haven't seen it?
Yeah, I've seen Let the Right One In. I
Yeah.
adore Let the Right One In. If
Mhm.
it had been Let the Right One In, like other people have said, it would easily be number one.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Same here.
it's not. So,
Yeah.
And I think the reason a lot of other people don't like Let Me In as opposed to Let the Right One In, even though I haven't seen it, is one, because there's this much more like sympathetic and less like overtly horror-y tone to the original movie,
Yeah.
where it's like very much focusing more on the relationship between Ely and Oscar and not the horror of it. Even though there's like horrific shit
plenty of
that's still
that in
happening.
the original.
Oh, there's horrific shit happening all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
like it doesn't feel like they're telegraphing it, really. It's just there and happening.
By the way, Bill, Let Me In came out in 2010.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
what
much
last
more-
movie I said, Bill Bowers? Suck? The vampire horror rock thing?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Marty's gonna have to get a hat.
Yeah.
You've
I
just
do
had a
think Let
realization.
Me In
Huh?
was a good, was a solid remake, though.
Solid
Yeah, it
remake.
was.
To give them
thing
some
that I'm-
credit.
Yep,
It's a
the
lot
thing that
better
I'm-
than a lot of remakes, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as of late.
Yep. The thing that really bothers me, though, is that there's the whole gender aspect of Ely in the original, where it's just like barely there, but like there's the implication that like Ely was not a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
she
heard
says
that.
I'm not a
Which,
girl.
like,
You know?
Gets into really fucked up detail in the book that I don't want to think about too hard.
Yeah.
But like when Ely says, "I'm not a girl" in Let the Right One In, there's more implication to that than just I'm a monster.
Right.
So when Oscar like agrees, like, I still want to be with you, there's like this whole other beautiful level of acceptance to that
Yeah,
that just makes me
absolutely.
so happy. And that's just not there in Let Me In.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll still like it, but the fact that that's not an aspect, just it loses something for me.
Yeah.
Or do you think it was because they were trying to make it more to
To
certain?
to a West audience, maybe.
Yeah,
I guess I could possibly see that.
like I don't agree with it because
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful. What
Yeah,
Fiend said, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
But I always wondered about
I
that.
don't know. Honestly. I've never thought about it. Honestly, I never honestly have thought about it until just now. Like, yeah, that
Yeah,
actually.
because I remember that particular aspect. Talking about that aspect of Let the Right One In, when we find out that the vampire really wasn't a girl vampire, and the fact that Oscar still wanted to be with I forgot the name.
Illy.
Illy, you know, he wanted to be with her, even though we kind of think that started as a boy. Yeah, and I guess maybe because especially at that time, I'm pretty sure the American film producers didn't want to touch the subject. They wanted to stick it with the simple aspect that it was a girl vampire. So I guess they didn't want to touch that particular aspect. Even though I think today, I still think they wouldn't want to do that because of the kid's age.
Yeah, it's possible because even now you don't. That's something you don't see very regularly in horror now. That's why something like Bit shocked me so much.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, like, it's not the same thing, but it's also kind of the same thing. Sleepaway Camp exists.
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, no, you're entirely right.
But also the scenes of intense horror are even done much better than the original. Like the scene where Ailey walks in the room without being invited and he starts to bleed, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh god,
that one just makes me
so
sad.
intense in the original.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then the end, the pool scene is way more.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
that
that scene
ending
with all my heart. And yeah, and the thing about that is, like, it's such a tender movie, and like I'm fully on board with Ely. I adore Ely, but like at the end of the movie, you're still kind of just like, is Oscar going to just become their next familiar?
Yeah.
You adore
Yeah, I
her,
love
but she's a brutal. You know?
Yeah, and I love that the movie never really gives a clear answer on that.
Yeah.
It leaves it entirely up to the audience to
Yeah.
decide that question.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it works. I think it would have been better.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It would have ruined the movie if, well, not ruined it, but it wouldn't. It would have made the weekend a lot less poignant if we got a conclusive answer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it doesn't have fucking Gary Oldman.
It doesn't have Gary Oldman, so
If Gary Oldman was in Let the Right One In, what would that do?
Oh, that would
it would
It'd
boost the
played,
sex appeal.
no, because like Gary
Neely's
Oldman,
original
like,
companion.
Yeah,
there.
Gary Oldman as the first
Yeah, as the familiar.
you know, but it would, because like I joke, like he was a sexual awakening when I was a kid. Not gonna lie there, but he's also I'm
He's
not
a good
kidding.
actor.
He's a brilliant actor. So
he
actually,
would
I
have
think
knocked that out of the park.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
actually
yeah.
think that would be a beautiful movie. So no, I'm not. But but yeah, Gary Oldman was a sexual awakening for me. I was like, hello, whoa.
Can't tell.
I want someone to tell me that.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so Let the Right One In has a lot of personal significance to me. It makes me really happy.
Mhm.
But so does Bram Stoker's Dracula. I
Yeah.
watched that at a very specific point in time where it was just like, I felt like very ostracized and like weird at school for some reason. It wasn't even like that big of a thing. I just felt like I was in this weird place mentally at the time.
Yeah.
And I had this copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula for years because I was I don't know, I was somewhere between 7 and 10 when my aunt gave me a copy of it, not realizing it was an R-rated movie, and my parents did not let me touch it because they were like, yeah, you don't want to watch this one right now. And then one night we were like, hey, Dad, can we actually watch this now? I've been holding on to this so long and we haven't even opened it. And Dad was like, yeah, okay. So we watched it together. And I had already been a fan of so many different adaptations of Dracula. And I had read the books multiple times. Or the book. There's only one of them. And just seeing so many scenes from the book played out so faithfully, plus this poignant, sympathetic, romantic aspect of and the sympathetic vampire thing was something I've really related to at the time. So it was this simultaneously this new take on the story, but also this weird nostalgia trip for me. So it was I'm reliving the book, but also getting this new spin on it. And Keanu Reeves did take me out of it a little bit. Yeah.
He always does.
He does it with me, so
He's an acquired taste in that movie.
But weirdly, everyone always jokes, but actually, if you go, this is one of the more faithful adaptations.
Out of the Hollywood ones that
Yeah.
aren't 3
Yeah,
hour
yeah,
long
that
miniseries
is
or
the one.
multi-parters. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the more.
And that's
Yeah.
one thing, because people always say, because of Keanu Reeves and other aspects, but actually, I'm like, no, this is actually
up
one
there.
of the more faithful ones of it that gets a lot right.
Yeah, the only thing it doesn't get right is that Dracula is literally just a merciless killer in the original, and there's no reincarnation plot. Thanks
Yeah.
to the Mummy.
Thanks, the Mummy. Hey.
I do have some issues with Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, I will say though,
it's not one of my more favorites.
Yeah. If we're gonna talk the Keanu Reeves aspect, though, my friend Ria, who has a great comic called Carmilla's Return that you should check out, by the way.
Ooh.
My LGBTQ horror rotten recommendations video, there's a link under that
Nice.
that you should check out. Really
Will do.
good.
Nice.
But she has a headcanon for Bram Stoker's Dracula as a spinoff of The Matrix, where the entire movie is The Matrix deciding to stick Neo inside of this Victorian Gothic world. The only thing they couldn't recreate correctly was a good accent for him.
I kind of love that, actually. That's kind of awesome. I'm not even a big Matrix person, but yeah, I kind of love
You're here
that.
for this?
I'm kind of into that idea that all Keanu Reeves movies are secretly Matrix films.
But yeah, point 100% goes to Bram Stoker's Dracula. It makes me really happy. Also, I think it's the only one that really like includes all of the companions, like Arthur Holmwood and Quincy Morris and those people
Yes.
accurately, and shows that Lucy like wants to be with all of them. Lucy should have just been in a polyamorous relationship with all of them.
Yeah, this is a movie that would have been solved by polyamory so quickly.
So easily.
She does. I'll say it. She does. Some women, it's a fun thing for her.
I know what boys like.
It's true. I'll say it. I have a vagina. I can say it.
I have a vagina. I can say it.
You guys,
I'll
if
have
you
on the
said it,
t-shirt,
you'd be
Jen.
considered misogynist pricks because that's just the way that we live in. But I can say it. Yeah, some women find it fun to get as many cocks as hard as possible. It's a hobby.
So anyway, point to Universal. The final point to Universal.
So anyway,
Converse while I tally up the score.
hold on. Just want to point out a couple things I don't like about Bram Stoker's, even though it gets the win. I can't stand Anthony Hopkins Van Helsing. I'm sorry.
Really?
Really?
He's so over the top and ridiculous to me.
But like, if
I think
you've
it's
been
like his
pursuing
worst
Dracula for
performance.
this
And he's
long,
a
wouldn't you-
fantastic actor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just did not like him in that role. So
But like,
over the
don't
top.
you have to be a little bit crazy to hunt down Dracula, especially this version of like shape-shifting to a million different things Dracula? Don't you have to be a little off your rocker?
I
Yeah.
suppose, but I don't.
One thing I also kind of actually really like about the Hopkins Van Helsing, I like the little subtle thing that implies that he's a Freemason. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's a random little thing that they just threw in there, but I actually like that.
When is that?
I'm trying to remember. There's a point where they specifically there's a hint. I can't remember. I think it's on. I think there's when he's first introduced. There's a letter on his desk that has the symbol for the Freemasons on it.
It's just a nice little touch.
Yeah, just a cute little touch. Oh, okay.
So how
And
bad?
Jen, I
Oh,
know
yes.
you love Gary Oldman in the role, but don't you think he's just channeling Bela Lugosi a bit much?
He's
Fuck you, Sean! Fuck you!
I mean, no, he's 100% doing the accent, but he's like channeling every prior version of Dracula into his own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is channeling hotness. He is channeling just that male magnetism. Oh my God, Sean, shame on you. I think you're just jealous. I think you're jealous. Everyone's jealous of Gary Oldman.
This is true.
I don't think.
It's too
Yeah.
How
glossy,
dare
man.
you, sir?
It's too glossy. It's too Hollywood.
Okay,
I mean, every woman wants Gary Oldman, especially in that hat when he's young. I mean, every woman wanted to be Winona Ryder at that moment. I know I sure
You
did.
definitely did. Yeah.
Okay, to be fair though, Jen, I don't think Sean's attracted to men, and I'm not attracted to anyone.
So yeah, I guess that's true.
But I'm trying to tell you,
I'm
you
attracted
shouldn't
with
speak
Winona
on
Ryder
this,
in
Sean.
that.
It's like,
Hey, I
it's
mean-
can't understand. It's Gary Oldman. His magnetism just translates to everybody.
There you go, Jen.
There we go.
Yeah, as much as I enjoy this, I gotta go because I had to get some rest.
Okay.
I get up to go to work.
Good night, Monty.
That's very fair.
One
Shall
minute.
we tally it up, Christian?
Before you go, let me tally the votes. So the
Okay.
grand total of the battle royale between Hammer and Universal, the grand duel, Hammer comes in with a grandiose 21 points. Universal comes in with a whopping 45 points.
How does that even work with four
I don't
people?
know, but this is how it happens. This happened, and we let
I
it
demand a
happen.
recount.
So you're saying that Universal is Gary Oldman.
Universal murdered Hammer. Excuse me, I have to go break all of the Hammer movies I own with a hammer now.
I get that. That's pretty cool.
You
All right,
just nail
everyone.
them all to Sean.
Mhm.
All right,
I
everyone.
have
Y'all
to
have a
break
good night.
everyone's Hammer movies now.
And y'all
Yeah.
stay safe out there.
All
Night,
right.
Monty. Talk to you
Monty.
next
What's
time.
up,
Awesome
Monty?
stream.
Thanks for hanging.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
So
Despite
the
the
grand winner
outcome,
is
I had a
first.
blast.
Yeah. Before you go though, the count at the end. Like, have you watched Mr. Sardonicus?
Can't say.
No.
I don't think I have either.
Oh
No.
my god. Okay, so it's a William Castle movie. It's my favorite William Castle movie. It's Guy Rolfe, who's like Toulon in the Puppet Master movies.
Oh, this one! I know the movie you're talking about. I still
Yeah.
need to watch it.
It's it's so good. I did a review a while back.
I'll have to check it out.
It is excellent. It is literally like it's like a Victorian era period piece where this guy, like this woman he hasn't seen in years, like invites him to come up to his castle, to the castle where she lives with like this Baron Sardonicus now. And Sardonicus like has this facial disfigurement, so he's always wearing a mask, and he's like experimenting on girls with leeches to try to figure out how to fix his facial deformity. But the William Castle gimmick is the punishment poll, where you have to decide if Mr. Sardonicus deserves mercy or not by the end of the movie.
That's awesome.
I remember now. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
And so everybody gets like a ballot with a thumbs up or a thumbs down on it. I actually printed them out and did it at my high school's horror club, which was so fun.
That's fucking awesome.
Is that like a full moon like movie?
It's well before that. It's like
It was William Castle.
late
Yeah.
60s. William Castle, who did like House on Haunted Hill and The Tingler, and
Shocked
but-
people in their seats, literally.
Oh,
yeah,
the
but like
Tingler.
Guy Rolfe, who went on to be in like Dolls and the Puppet Master movies, was in this movie first.
Fuck.
But like the punishment poll literally consisted of William Castle walking out with a notepad and being like pretending to count the votes in the audience. It's really funny. And then he just like is like, oh yeah, no mercy. And then because he's like, the studio wanted him to film a happy ending, so he was like, what if I film two endings and let the audience decide? He didn't film the second ending. He just kept the other one.
That sounds like William Castle, all right.
Yep. But yeah, like you tallying up the votes for who was going to win at the end reminded me of the punishment poll, because it's like, you know what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, we all knew the outcome. The game was rigged from the very start.
Yep. But yeah, you should watch Mr. Sardonicus.
I will either
I
watch
think you
that
would
or
like it
suck
a lot
tonight,
too.
if not both.
But we need the little for straight jacket. We need little axes.
Oh yeah, Straight Jacket also.
I
did good-
love
good-
Straight Jacket.
I do too. I'm a
Yes.
big Joan Crawford fan.
Mhm.
Not so much her parenting style, but you know, she was
Yeah.
a great actress.
Oh yeah. Also, I very recently read this book. It's really good. It's called The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter.
Ooh.
Heard of it.
So it follows Mary Jekyll, who is investigating her father's disappearance. So she enlists Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson to help her with that.
Oh, cool.
Which
As you
leads-
do.
Fuck yeah.
Yep, leads her to her half sister Diana Hyde, who's being raised by nuns and fucking hates it. And then she encounters Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreau, and Justine Frankenstein.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
And they
I'm here
realize
for that.
that all of their parents are in this like alchemist society. Like, and also like there's these like murders happening on the streets where like body parts are going missing, and they're like, it's very Frankensteinian, so they're like, what's going on here? And then someone in the nearby insane asylum just suddenly confesses to the murders, and it's Renfield.
That's awesome.
God damn it.
It's
So I have to go watch 2 movies now and read a book. God
Yeah.
damn it.
There's two books after this, and
This
I literally
guy
picked
is a
this
bad
up because-
influence, isn't he?
Yeah, I literally picked this up because apparently Carmilla and Laura are in the second book. So
Of course. You just have to read everything involving Carmilla ever made.
yes, I do.
You're gonna make me read and stuff.
Yeah, you have to read words.
I don't like them words in my movies.
No, sir.
This was so much fun, Sean.
This
Thank
was a
you.
blast.
This was
This was
a
a really good
Thanks
time.
for coming.
It was
I'm
great.
glad you
was
can make
great
it.
topic.
kind of wish we had a Hammer fan to kind of balance things, but you know.
What if we do a stream that's just like pitting Hammer movies against other Hammer movies?
Yeah.
Hammer versus Hammer.
It's Hammer time. That would be what the name is.
Well,
It's Hammer time.
Will
That's the only
Hammer
way
lose
Hammer
or will
would
Hammer
win, I guess.
win?
Or is it too? Or is Hammer too legit to quit?
Personally, I'm rooting
I
for
mean,
Hammer.
when Monty hosted the Universal stream, it was pitting Universal against Universal. We could do the
That's
same thing with
true.
Hammer.
That is true.
Be
That's
something
true.
in the pipeline.
Ooh.
Could be interesting.
To be continued, perhaps.
Perhaps. Are we still working for you, Sean? Or are you getting new co-host?
No, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I even had to give it up to a few of them, obviously. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I love Universal too, so I can't.
Yeah. At the end of the
Certain
day, both
movies, you
companies
just
make
have
some
to
great
give it to
fucking
them, you know.
movies.
Yeah.
But I love Hammer, so I'm gonna keep loving Hammer and screw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a great time, guys. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Fiend, for being a great guest today. Thank you, Jen and Christian from Jen's Reviews from the Grave. The Horror Monty. Horror Miser Monty.
Horror
Gee,
Monty.
Sorry, Monty.
Long day, huh, Sean?
Yes, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Intense battle.
Oh no, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
still
intense.
never forgiving you for making me pick between my two favorite lesbian vampires. They shouldn't have fought. They just should have been, kissing each other the whole time.
Yes.
I've seen that movie.
We all have seen that movie.
But like
But,
Count
yeah.
Celeste, Carmilla rom-com. Come on.
I am into this idea.
I like it. I think you should write a book about Carmilla.
I should actually. Like I watched the special features for the Vampire Lovers, and there was like a guy on there whose like description was Carmilla Scholar, and it's like I know what I want to be when I grow up now.
That's what I'm saying. You could be the teacher of brightening young minds to introducing them to Carmilla.
Mm-hmm.
That is a life goal right there.
Sex worker.
Yeah. That checks out for you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it does.
All right,
I was
guys,
voted
well-
most likely to be the Unabomber.
Anyway,
Anyway,
But that's in the past.
that being said,
That was last Tuesday.
The past.
all right, guys, everyone out in YouTube land, thank you for joining us for the Horror Hangout live stream, the Hammer Horror versus Universal Monsters. And Universal clobbered them, yes, so there's that. But tune in next time. Let's have a great time next time and keep it going strong. That was a great show, and have a great night, everyone.
Have a great night, everyone.
Peace out.
bye.
Night, guys.
Party on and be excellent to each other.
Keep watching
Be
horror, guys.
excellent. Peace.
Oh God, no, not again! Damn it!
Oh wait.
God.
He did it again!
This is my move.
Wait. Oh
We've overtaken Sean's stream again.
no. Oh
Oh no, he did this once before.
I think this is my
Oh no.
moment to just remind people that when you go to bed tonight and you turn out the light, to just remember that there are such things.
There is
are
very much such a thing out there. All those creatures under your bed, all the monsters in your closets, all the things scratching at your window, they're real.
Mhm.
Yeah, oh dear.
Sean.
Sean.
We